Shabbat Shalom, family. All right, we're going to get this thing moving. You know how we do. We try to always be on time. If you're not early, you're not on time. So we try to be on time all the time, especially on the Shabbat day when it's time to teach these lessons. All right. Giving all honor and praise unto the Most High King of all creation, asking that He will guide our mind, my spirit, guide my mind, my spirit, my body, my language, and my speech as I approach unto you, His people. Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. Hi, what's the day? What's the day? March 6th, right? Today's date, the 6th? I believe today's date is March 6th. Shalom, Ishti. Yeah, today is March 6th. Family, you know we're getting close to Pesach. Pesach is right around the corner. Right around the corner. It comes in the night of the 28th at sunset. March the 28th at sunset. Pesach is all day March the 29th. All day. And I believe that the last day of the feast, is the 5th of April. I believe that is, and I'm not sure about that. You have to check that out. You can make certain of these dates at OneNationCalendarCoalition.com. OneNationCalendarCoalition.com. If you go to OneNationCalendarCoalition.com, you'll be able to make 100% certainty, well, let's say 99.9% certainty of what day Pesach is and all the rest of the holy days, the preceding holy days. The reason why I say 99.9% of the time is because we go based on the sighting of the first crescent moon and the maturity of the barley harvest. If the barley is in a certain stage of Abib, then that lets us know we're in the proper season. If the barley is not in that stage of Abib, then we're not in the proper season. Therefore, we have to wait until the barley is in its proper stage and then wait for the next new moon. So the new moon is supposed to be, I believe it is, April the 15th. The new moon day is April 15th. March 15th. So on March 15th, if the barley hasn't ripened to the state of Abib before that day or on that day, then we cannot pronounce this the beginning of the new year. We have to wait until we have the witnesses. The heavens and the earth bear record of when that season is. You know, we try to keep an artificial account or accumulation of time, and we call that the clock. But the heavens and the earth bear record of what time it actually is. And we have to keep a record of that. We have to bear a record of that with two witnesses, two or more witnesses. That's the heavens and the earth to tell us that we are in the proper season. So we have the earth and the heavens. The earth with the barley, the heavens with the stars in the skies, the first visible crescent. That will confirm to us the beginning of our year. Okay? So with that in mind, the prospective date for Pesach for this year, 2021, is March the 19th. All day, not March the 19th. Scratch. I be seeing what I'm saying, and I'm seeing it. Sometimes I see it wrong. So I'm saying it now. Pesach is all day March the 29th. Okay? March the 29th is Pesach all day. It starts on the 28th at sunset until the 29th all day. The 28th is not Pesach. Pesach doesn't come in until the 28th at sunset. All day the 29th is Pesach. All day the 29th is Passover. Okay? So that's for all of those who don't know. You can go to the OneNationCalendarCoalition.com. And on One Nation Calendar Coalition, you will be able to see what days we have listed as the holy days according to the biblical calendar between the heavens and the earth bearing record. This is what we do. All right? Good. Wonderful. We do. We have calendars And I don't have a calendar with me because I didn't pick them up yet. So Creator willing, by next Shabbat, Mr. Yeshaya, maybe by next Shabbat, I'll have a photo of the calendar so I can show you all the calendar. But what I do have is the website. You can go to the website. And on the website, you'll see that Pesach is all day March 29th. Okay? All right. The One Nation Calendar Coalition.com. All right. We also have a Facebook page, and that's it right there, the One Nation Calendar Coalition. We have a Facebook page, the One Nation Calendar Coalition, with a link to our website. Also to our WhatsApp. You can do all that. Okay? All right. We're going to get started. We have a very interesting class today, so you should probably go out and bring everybody you know in the four corners of the earth that you know, and bring them to this room, to this page, to this site, so that they can all participate in this. And this is the third part of our marriage portion. Marriage and its many functions. We're going to talk about that. Marriage and its many functions. Give me 1 second. I get my microphone, please. And you see, I was early getting ready today. Early getting ready. And still forgot to set up my microphone. You see, these things happen sometimes. Sometimes you could be moving so fast that you're moving slow and don't even know it. Okay. All right. So we're going to try to fix this thing right for you, so you can hear properly. All right. Let's get busy. Please forgive me, family, for not having my microphone on earlier, because I should have had it on. I should have had it right before I approached the family. So please forgive me. My bad. Okay. So here we go. Let's get started. So what I'd like to know is, are there any questions? I want to go see if we can take some questions before we start giving out all the lessons or teachings today. I want to know if there's any questions, because we're going to read about marriage today. And we're going to read about several of the different functions of marriage, different ways to perform a wedding ceremony, the history of marriage from its conception that we are aware of, that we were able to trace out until its present day and time. All right? Am I better now? You said I was loud enough. Is it better now? Okay. All right. I got you. But I hope it's better now. I hope it's coming through with a more positive, strong impact so it can etch into your brain. So the sound can etch into your brain. You know what I've noticed sometimes, family? Most of the times, this is what I've noticed with Facebook. The Facebook thing will show you 4 or 5 people live in your room, but you got about 20 people sometimes. 15, 20 people that be really live, active on your screen, but the numbers up in the top of the corner only show you 5 people. I don't know why it's so. Maybe Facebook is doing something to your mind and wants you to work harder, so you think you got to work harder to get more people there when it's already like 20, 25 people there. I don't know. But anyway, we got 4 people in the room right now. 4 people. That's horrible, because we used to having about 34 people right now. But anyway, we're going to get started, because those who are late, they late. And we don't play that late stuff around here. We play that early stuff. We get started early. So if you have any questions, you can post your questions now. It's a little fuzzy but cool. The mic has a little muffledness to it, does it? All right. How's that? Is that better? All right, let's see. I got to have it perfected, So there's no excuses. Nobody could ever say to the Creator, well, Creator, Prince said it, but I didn't hear it because it was muffled. How's that? All right? Is that better now? I pray that that's better now. If it's not, I can remove the mic. If it comes through better the other way, I can remove the mic. It's not a big deal. Okay? Is that better? Let me know. I'll wait a second. Is that better? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. All right. All right. While I'm waiting for that, I want to talk. I want to say some things. And then hopefully you'll let me know if the mic is any better. Or do I need to remove the mic? Because I don't want nothing to be muffled. I don't want you to be saying you can barely hear me. Okay. Kayela says it's great. Okay, wonderful. Remove the mic. Oh, boy, women. Women always got something to say. Hey! Women always trying to tell a man what to do. What's wrong with women today? I don't know what's wrong with these people. Remove the mic. You just don't like my mic, that's all. My mic ain't did nothing to you. You just don't like my mic, that's all. You got a thing against microphones. I don't know why. Put that in the bag for me, please. She just don't like my mic. Talking about something wrong with my mic. Mess with my mic. What's wrong with that girl? Boy, I tell you, women be always starting something. So let's get started, fam. Go out, invite everybody you know, everybody in your friends list, and let's beat the number we had last week. Okay? Let's beat the amount of people we had in the room last week. Let's beat it by 100. All right, we're going to get started. Oh, I sound much clearer now? Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. No problem. All right. We're going to get started. Listen to her. Y'all on the same tag team today, huh? Okay. Y'all going to tag team the brothers. Okay, cool. It's no problem. Long as y'all can hear, we good. All right. We're going to get going. I had a very interesting week this week. Before we get started in our lesson, you guys can post some of the questions that you may have in the room. Y'all can post some of the questions y'all may have in the room, and I'm going to try to address some of those questions prior to we opening up in the lesson. All right? But I had a very interesting week this week. I've spoken to several people this week by way of counseling, and several of them was dealing with marriages, their husbands, divorces, and all types of things. And I heard some things that are a little bit disturbing that I want to bring to the forefront, to the minds of our people. Okay. I had a conversation with a sister a couple days ago, a while ago. And the sister was divorced from her husband. And the husband didn't want to take the children. And I couldn't understand this. Brothers, what are we doing now? What are we doing? Those children from that marriage belong to the men. They belong to the man. The man's responsibility, if the woman don't work out, those children still need you. So you should keep them. You should take them. You should provide for them. Even if you got to go and find you another wife to help you to raise them children is your responsibility. And the woman should be away. You should give her a bill, write it in her hand, put it in her hand, and send her out of your house. Deuteronomy 24th chapter, verse 1. The Most High never said, send the children out of your house. He said, send the woman out of your house. There should be no reason why a man divorces a woman and she got 3 and 4, 5 children by him, not kids, because kids are goats, children. She had 3, 4, 5 children by him, and he sending her out of his house with all them children to fend for herself. That's disrespectful. Totally disrespectful. That's nothing that the Most High would be pleased with. In no way, shape, or form. Especially when the man is the breadwinner. Supposedly the breadwinner. It's his responsibility to take care of those children. So when I hear these things, they are very disturbing to me. Very disturbing. I heard one sister say, I ain't giving him my children. Well, they his children. What are you talking about? He allows you to take the children. You don't allow him to take the... What is this? But we got a lot of people like that. We got a lot of people like that. That this is the way that they move. They go from woman to woman, impregnating a woman, go to another woman, impregnate that woman, go to another woman, impregnate that woman, and 10 children later, they ain't with none of the mothers, and they ain't got none of their children. Some of them don't even call their children, check on their children, or see their children. Some of them don't even do that. And it ain't that the children are making it difficult, because you know they got a way of making things difficult too. It ain't that the children are making it difficult. The men just ain't righteous. But they'll stand up on a podium in front of a community or Knesset or on Facebook and call themselves teaching men or teaching people or teaching Yisrael how to live in righteousness. And it's an abomination. A lot of the characters of a lot of our brothers is so far out of order. It's crazy. It's off the chain. I don't understand it. So these were some of the complaints. Now, here goes another complaint. Now, reason why I'm saying these things is because my job is to educate the people in the ways of the Almighty. So this is what I'm attempting to do because I know that a lot of people hear this information and they don't have anywhere else to gather this information from or to learn the proper teachings of righteousness. So here we go. Another situation comes up to me. This woman asks me a question. This sister says, Prince, is it okay for us to have sex on the Shabbat? Whoa. Is it okay for us to have sex on the Shabbat? She's married. She's married to her husband. Well, she ain't married no more, but she was married to her husband. That's how it came about. She says, is it okay for my husband to demand of me to have sex on the Shabbat? This is my answer to her. The reason why most people don't want to have sex on the Shabbat is because the emission of semen makes you unclean. Some people say, okay, I'm going to have sex with you on the Shabbat, but I'm not going to ejaculate. And they think that it's okay for them to have sexual intercourse on a Shabbat day with their wife as long as they don't ejaculate. Thereby, they're not becoming unclean. That's what some people say. I used to be one of those people many years ago. I used to be one of those people. When it first started off, I was totally against sex on the Shabbat. And then my mind started slipping away from me and I thought I had this epiphany, this great understanding and things of that nature. And I started saying, you know what? I could do it as long as I don't do it and ejaculate or go anywhere for service, then I'm okay. And then about a year later, maybe 2 years later, after I got that understanding, my mind came back to me once again. If you're living for righteousness, and you know that there is a chance of you becoming unclean on the Shabbat day, why would you take that chance? And also, why would you seek your own pleasures in that manner on the holy Shabbat day when the Father tells you not to do so? You follow what I'm saying to you? What is that? Isaiah the 58th chapter, I believe it's verse 13, somewhere around there. It speaks about seeking your own pleasures on the Shabbat day. Sex is a pleasure. It's something that you can do without on that one day a week. Now, I got to go deep with you a little bit because I need you to understand this. If you can't control your flesh for one day to step outside of that sexual arena and give the Most High His glory, you're a lot sicker than you think you are. You're a lot sicker than you think you are. It shall not even be a question today for any individual walking in this path to say, can I have sex on the Shabbat day? He should already know that that's something that we should avoid with every opportunity on the Shabbat day. And I done got so far gone from that understanding now that even on the days of my fast, every Wednesday we fast. Every Wednesday, Ribe'i. Every Rebbe we fast from Tuesday night at 12 o'clock till Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. We don't take no food. We don't drink no liquids. We straight fast from the head from Tuesday night at 12 o'clock to Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. And what this does is it builds up your discipline. It helps you be able to keep to your word. It gives you spiritual strength. In so many ways, when you do this consistently, faithfully, you build up something within yourself that helps you to be strong. Okay? So now, we do this to build up that strength. Now, on that day, I don't have intercourse either. On Wednesday, there will be no sexual intercourse taking place at all from Tuesday night at 12 o'clock till Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. There will be no sexual intercourse at all. You have to learn to command your flesh. Now, for those of us who believe that I can have sex on the Shabbat day as long as I don't ejaculate, there is an emission of semen that seeps out without an ejaculation. It's called pre-ejaculation. And pre-ejaculation can come out and impregnate a person, but pre-ejaculation can come out just by the thought of sexual pleasure. So any man that's truly seeking righteousness should not have intercourse with his Isha on Shabbat day. And that's from Friday night at sunset until Saturday night at sunset, or any day that you assume the Shabbat is. And I say that because a lot of people have different days that they assume is the Sabbath day. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not here for that conversation right now. I'm here for the purpose of marriage. So these are some of the intricate things that take place within the marriage that a lot of so-called, unquote, spiritual people have no understanding on, that they need to gain further understanding. Okay? So that was one issue that the sister brought up, one of the sisters. I had so many things I wanted to cover today because we have so many issues in our relationships with our people that it's very difficult for the Most High. I can see why we're still in captivity today. Because we cannot take these minds that we have into a place that the Most High has prepared for us as a nation to dwell, to rule the earth. We can't take this type of mind frame that we have for a lot of us. A lot of us don't want to admit that we're sick in our minds, that we have demons possessing us. There are spirits that control us to make us do the things that we do. There are things that just really, really evil things that control our essence, that make us do what we do. They entice us to do it. We do it because we choose to do it. But they highly influence us to do it. And we give into it. We give into it easily because we really like the way that it makes us feel. The temporary satisfaction. Gratification, temporary gratification, temporary satisfaction. We enjoy those pleasures. And it's destroying us, but we don't understand it. It's holding us back. It's holding back the process. And the more you give in to evil, the more negative, wicked spirits you are allowing to possess you and to control you. The more you fight against those spirits, the more holier and righteous and sanctified you will become. And I pray that my people understand this, because this is the mission that we're on after receiving so many years of condemnation, so many years of slavery, so many years of abuse and misuse. Now it's time for us to rise. Okay. Are there any questions? You know you can type your questions. If you got any questions, you can type it in the room. Here's another thing that I want to talk about. One of the ladies that I was speaking with some time ago, she mentions to me, I need you to go upstairs for a minute. Go upstairs because I want to say something that I don't want you to hear. And if there's any children in the listening audience, shut your microphone down so you don't hear this next part. So you go upstairs for a minute, go all the way in the back room and close the door and just give me like 2 minutes and then come back down. Hurry up, you're moving too slow. Hurry up, hurry up. Yeah, she like 16, but still. She don't need to hear that. So I would say if you're like 20 or under, get out the room, evacuate the property, run, turn off your microphone. Yeah, you need to see what in the Torah? I'm freestyling. Yo, bro, go to Isaiah, the 58th chapter, and read that for yourself. It'll talk about your own pleasures. First of all, you have to admit that sex is a pleasure of your own. You don't have to do that. You do that because you choose to. Okay? Then you can go to the book of Leviticus, the 19th chapter, the 15th chapter, the 19th verse, or the 19th chapter and the 19th verse, where it talks about, no, it ain't even the 19th verse. It's somewhere around like the 10th or 11th verse, where it speaks about the emission of semen makes you unclean. Okay? Leviticus, the 19th chapter, I think it's around verse 10 or 11. If you need be, you let me know and I'll pull it up for you. But here's another thing that's a problem with us that we don't understand. And it's masturbation. Masturbation, rather you be a man or a woman. Masturbation. Masturbation is also a lustful demon that possesses you. Masturbation is a lustful demon that possesses you. What do I mean by that? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's not cool for you to masturbate. That's not what I'm saying to you. I'm not going to say that to you. What I'm saying is, when you find yourself wanting to do that all the time, whenever you're alone, whenever you by yourself, whenever the house is quiet, you find yourself, because you're alone, you ain't got no husband, or even if you got a husband, he ain't around. You feel like you just got to explode and do this thing. You just go and, take it over. Feel good. And it's over. What you don't understand is that that's a force. That's a demon that has possession of you. If you masturbate because you choose to masturbate whenever you choose, but it's not an everyday, all-day thing, that's one thing. Different situation. But a lot of people think that it is a demon, sis. A lot of people allow that energy to build up in them at the craziest, wrongest times. Like some people might be at work. And like I used an example when I was speaking to the sister. Some people might be at work and all of a sudden they see somebody that attracts them. That person gone. They go in the back room and alleviate themselves, release themselves. This is real, man. This is why we having this talk. This is why we having this conversation right now. Because I need you to understand there's a lot of things holding us back from getting what we rightfully deserve in the sight of the Creator. And this is one of those things. Because we willingly and voluntarily allow demons to possess us. And we call it an emotion. It's not an emotion. It's an entity that has entered into you, that has taken possession of you, and forces you to do the things that you do. And you got to get it up out of you. This is why a lot of men commit adultery. All types of fornications and wickedness. This is why, what's that thing that they call when they mess with children? What's that word they use when they what is the word? I'm glad I can't remember the word for real. But y'all understand when pervert dudes, them dudes and women, because it comes in both shapes and forms, pedophiles. When they do the pedophilia, that's a demon that possesses them, that causes them to do these things. You see what I'm saying? Now, how do these demons get into you to cause you to do these types of evil things? I'm going to share with you how these demons get into you. First of all, you have what they call canals, or what they have as doorways. And these sacred doorways are things that you must learn to guard and protect at all times. Your eyes, your ears, your nose, and your mouth. These are sacred doorways that you must learn to protect. The most susceptible ones to allow spirits to enter into you is this: the eyes, and the ears. Have you ever noticed that you can be with your woman? And I know a lot of y'all gonna pretend as if y'all ain't never did this stuff, but I know you did. So play with somebody else. Right here, we trying to be educated to learn how to defend ourselves against evil. Have you ever learned have you ever take a time and sat with your woman, you and your wife, and y'all might been getting a little bit rubby-dubby, close together, and somebody pop on a porno movie? Did you ever notice how when you're watching a porno movie, it elevates your desire to be intimate? It takes it from one level to another level, and it does it real quick, real soon. It'll elevate you so quick, so you use your eyes and your ears to allow that entity to enter into you. Now, if you can't master that, then it's best that you stay away from that. This is what I'm trying to share with you. This is why these things are no good for the human consumption, because most people will watch that, and that spirit, that entity comes on them, and they don't know how to get that entity off of them. And all of a sudden, they nasty, they perverted, and it's a 24-hour thing. They have no control over that. You understand what I'm saying to you? These things really enter into us through our eyeways and our airways. They affect us. There are certain sounds that individuals can make that will make you automatically feel a certain kind of, oh man, man, let's go. Certain sounds that can be made that stimulates that demon that lays dormant inside of you, and you allow it to take you to the next level. What I'm submitting to your family is this. When you have gotten to a place in your life where you no longer can control the way that you feel, when you feel, and how you feel, then you know that it's time for you to start praying, fasting, and meditating a lot more from the things that you normally allow to enter into you. There are certain foods that will take you there, will stimulate you in a certain way. There are certain foods that can take you there also. Yes, they're wicked. There are certain foods that you can eat, certain songs that you can listen to, certain movies that you can watch. And I'm talking about movies that's out in the public for everybody, not the adult movies, but movies that little children watch, because they feed it to you on a circular level as a child. They don't wait till you get grown to start feeding you this garbage, opening up your doorways for these demons. They begin that process in your youth. Cartoons oftentimes start the process for you to have a wicked mind, for you to allow certain demons into your essence with cartoons. And it elevates as you grow older and older and older. The more accumulation of these forces are able to enter into you, till you get to a level and a place one day where you no longer can control yourself. You have no power over your own flesh. You are weak in many ways. Thereby, what we do is we go through life thinking that sex is going to bring us pleasure, thinking that sex is our tool of happiness, and it's not. That demon is being pleased through the sexual nature, not you. You're being pleased because that demon is being pleased, and you feel like you're satisfied. And I'm not saying that anything is wrong with sex. I'm saying that when you're no longer having sex and sex control and sex has you, then yeah, something is wrong with it. Not when you are in control of sex, but sex is in control of you. Then there's something wrong with that. Anytime you know that the Most High's law says that thou shalt not, right? And yet you ride and find yourself in the wee hours of the night and you are doing it, which you know thou shalt not. But yet you find yourself, you shall do. That's what you do. You find yourself picking up this one here, picking up that one there, or sleeping with this man over here, or letting that man do what he do to you, as long as he don't penetrate you and you get that satisfaction. These things are wicked. If you want to release yourself sexually, get you a husband or get you a wife. No man should be able to do anything sexual to you except he's your husband. And for men, you should not be sexing any woman except she's your wife or your concubine, or in some order you brought her to yourself for you to take on the responsibility of her as a woman in your life. That's it. Now, I'm not saying to you that the desire to masturbate is evil, is wicked. A lot of people will tell you that. Prince ain't going to tell you that, because that's not how I understand things to be. What I'm saying to you is that when you allow that entity to control you, where you no longer have control over it, but it possesses you, then it's wicked. And it's something that you need to get away from you. All right? Too many of us do too many things that has nothing to do with righteousness. And it's all about satisfying the flesh. This entity has entered into us from our youth. And now you see a lot of little children talking about, well, I want to have sex. I can't wait till I get married. They start intermingling with sexual things in their youth, and it's a violation. It's not right. And we want to beat them. We want to correct them, but we don't understand that a lot of the way that they feel is because of the television shows that they watch, the music that they listen to, the foods that they eat. Do you know that they shoot sex hormones up inside of food? I remember when I used to be up at the prison, I learned this information at the prison, that what they would do at the prison, they would put something that they call saltpeter in your food. They will put this thing that they call saltpeter in your food to keep men from having the desire to want to have sex and end up raping another man. But saltpeter don't work. Just imagine if they had not used saltpeter, how bad it would really be. Let's deal with this order of things before we get into our lesson. Now remember, this is the pre-lesson. So make sure you get everybody here so they can be here in this lesson. Another thing is, that evil, that wicked spirit that causes you to desire to have sex. Another thing about it is, sometimes it doesn't have a gender. Sometimes that demon don't care if you're a man or a woman. It's going to cause you to desire the same sex. And that's another thing why you see little children now talking about they're homosexual or bisexual. Little children, 8 and 9 years old now talking about they bisexual. 4 and 5-year-old boys screwing each other, grinding on each other, doing sexual things. It becomes a part of this to make this start moving like that towards your own sex. People don't understand this. They look at you as when you're older and you're homosexual, they look at you like you just flipped one day. No, it didn't happen one day. You just made that choice one day. Or you were raped one day. But I'm trying to explain to you, family, that nothing is unforgivable by the Most High. But what you do is you got to go before the Most High. When you ask the Most High for forgiveness, you turn from your wickedness and you do righteousness from that day forward. This is why it's so important, as the sister's bringing out, Shavanya, she's bringing out, this is why it's so important that we have communal living with a whole lot of entities of righteousness around us. And if everybody's living to their fullest ability, those evil negative spirits will be lessened at a whole lot more. Whole lot more. Homosexuality comes through the way of demons as well. And a lot of people might get mad or upset because they probably got a homosexual son, homosexual daughter. Their wife might be homosexual. He might be homosexual. You got a whole lot of Israelite brothers that's undercover. Let me tell you. It's a whole, and they stand strong. Yeah, what? What I say? And them niggas be punks. For real, for real. They be straight gay. And on the down low, gay. But they be standing up strong. I ain't going to tell you how to detect them because I don't know. But I know for a fact that there are some. I know that for a fact. And when I meet them, I deal with them. I tell them, and I try to correct them. But everybody don't want to hear what you got to say. This is the truth. I know a couple brothers that was brought up on charges for acts of homosexuality. Couple people in leadership positions. Were brought up with accusations of homosexuality. And you know what happens usually? It gets swept under the rug. Oh, no. He ain't that way. No. Not at all. No, that was a mistake. It was an error. No, that wasn't true. And we just leave it alone. And because that person gets up and speaks so good or eloquently, We just act like we didn't hear that this dude just had sex with a little boy or another man. Or he prospered, what's that word? Prosper. He did something to let another man know he wanted to have sex with him. Propositioned. And we act like it ain't real, like it didn't happen. Because we like the way he speak, or we might like the way he look, or he's such a profound teacher or a leader. He's not a profound teacher or leader if he has homosexual tendencies. Homosexuality is a demon. You're absolutely right, bro. And that's what I'm trying to explain to the family. These are demons that we allow into our nature. And once we allow them into our nature, we allow them to grow within us. And eventually they consume us. They take over us and they become a part of our everyday life. We actually go out and start looking for individuals to allow that demon to have its way. We don't realize we're possessed with demons. A lot of us don't. A lot of us don't even understand the beginning of thought and the power thereof. We give ourselves to these entities for their pleasure. And we rock with it. And we want everybody else to understand, or we want everybody else to get out of our business. Get out my business. I'm grown. I can do what I want. Mind your business. That's how we treat others who interfere with us having our sexual pleasures in any way, shape, or form that we want. But what I'm saying to you, family, is that these are demons. And you must learn to control your demons. And if you could eradicate your demons from your life, that would be even better. But most of us don't even want to undergo what is needed and necessary to eradicate these demons from us. That's why the Father tells us, this is why he tells us, meditate on my law day and night. If you're meditating on the words and the teachings of the Most High day and night, them demons don't even want to be in you. They want to run from you because there's power in words. There's power in thoughts. And the way that you fight off of a demon is not with a gun or a knife. It's with the ability and the power of thought, meditation, prayer, and the actions of doing it. That's how you fight them off. So sisters, if you marry, now I'm going to give you this hint, sis. If you marry, see, the Prince like to deal in the real world. I'm not going to speak as politically correct as they say. Screw that. I deal with righteousness. So sisters, if you're married to a man, but yet you find yourself thinking and meditating on another man, sexually or in a way that you know you shouldn't be, the best thing that you can do is meditate on the laws of the Creator and force that demon up out of you. Because that's a demon trying to get up in you. And a lot of people so weak, they give over to those demons and say, hey, Mr. Demon, you got me. And they dream and they sleep and they think about having intercourse with a man that's not their husband and they are married. Now, if you're not married, sis, I can't tell you what to dream about and what to wish about and what to think about. But if you're married, your desire should be towards your husband and your husband alone. And if you, the only way that I know that you can remove that demon from you is to meditate on the laws of the Most High daily. Do the actions that are pleasing to this King. And if we did that more often, a lot of the problems that we have in life wouldn't be here. A lot of the problems we have in life would not be here. Okay? Yeah, lies is another one. Telling lies, speaking lies, those are demons that possess you. And you have to force these demons out of you. You have to get them out of you, because if you don't, they will consume you. They will take over you. They will master you. What was that? King Solomon said, better is the man who has control over his spirit than he who rules a whole city. Because it's very difficult for us to master self. And most of us don't even begin to want to know self. We allow ourselves to give in to the evils of this world, and then we're riding around all day looking up in the sky for a bolt of lightning to come out the sky to hit you, to bang you up, or a car to smash into your car because of that evil that you just got finished doing, or your child to get hurt. You're always looking for something for the Most High to show you that you did evil, but you already know that you did evil. So it's best that you condition your mind to prevent yourself from doing these evil acts. I would say almost every negative energy that we have is controlled and forced in energy by a demon. As I explained on behalf as if I'm the creator, I'm not the Most High. Neither do I attempt to even make you want to believe that I am the Most High. But what I cannot do today is allow you to interrupt the flow. That's probably that demon talking through you, trying to make you jump up here and interrupt this flow so that others won't learn how to get these demons out of their possession. Or you might be one of those people. I don't know. But more than likely, that's probably what's happening. The Elohim requires sacrifice of the essence. Not animal sacrifices, not blood sacrifices, but sacrifice of your own pleasure, sacrifice of your own desires. This is how the Most High removes those entities from you. When you make that place uncomfortable for them to be, they will flee. They will run from you. Think for a second. Check this out for a second. If you're in a building and it's freezing cold, I mean freezing cold, where your body is about to freeze, would you remain in that building if you had the opportunity to leave? Or would you turn the heat on and change the condition of that building? But there is no way that you're going to remain in an uncomfortable situation. The same thing with the demon realm. The demon realms don't want to stay and remain in a place that's uncomfortable for them. But the problem is not enough of us knows how to fight these demons. Prince is trying to give you some knowledge today to teach you how to fight these demons. They know what they're doing. That's right. They do. People do know what they're doing. And they give in to evil. And that's why they breed wicked children. And those wicked children are born with them demons in them. And then they grow up never fighting and taking on the challenge of removing them demons from them. And then they pass their seed or that spirit down to their children. But what I'm trying to say to you, family, is that we can eradicate that from our lives. We can eradicate that from the lives of our children. Mike, if you had came in a little bit earlier, it would have explained it to you. We invite those demons in our lives through our actions. What we see with our eyes, what we hear with our ears, what we breathe with our nose and eat with our mouths. These are all the things that bring in these demons. You watch certain television shows. You look at certain books and magazines. Your eyes are feeding you those demons. Your ears are allowing certain entities and certain spirits to enter into your subconscious mind. You understand what I mean? These are the type of things that allow these entities to enter into you, to possess you. And then when they come on you, they usually try to get you to do things subtle first. Like meet a girl. You're going to meet the girl, talk to the girl. You drop the girl off, you take her home just to see if you can get her in your car. And then the next time you see the girl, you get the girl, you meet the girl, now you want to see if you can get a kiss. And then the next time you see the girl, you meet the girl, you see the girl, you get a kiss, and now you want a little bit of booty, so you feel her, you touch her, and you see if you can stimulate that demon inside of her to make her give in to you. And what often happens is she possessed with demons, she's packed with demons just like you are, and y'all end up doing things that the both of you know should not be done. But after a while that you allow that demon to possess you, after a while that thing won't even hit your conscious mind no more. It'll be your nature for you to do that all of a sudden. And it's bad. Yeah, you're right. A lot of them are just wicked. And they give in to those wickedness. They give in to those wicked desires. They give in to that evil. And it possesses them. It consumes them. It takes control of them. And then when we have foods like we have conversations like we're having, it arouses that demon inside of them. And they don't want everybody hearing this because that means that that's the less that their other friend demons, their brother demons, or even that same demon, because that one demon can possess more than one house. That same demon is possessing all these people, and he don't want to go nowhere. He don't want to be put out. I agree with you, bro. Foods and drugs does create demons. They do. Foods and drugs do create access for demons to come within you. Let me show you something else that I'm ready to drop a jewel on you right now, Brother Michael. Michael White, that's my man. Mike, I didn't know that was you. Shalom. I'm ready to drop a jewel on you right now. All right? And I'm going to show you how drugs and foods allow demons to enter into your body. Here we go. What do they call wine but spirits? What do they call wine but spirits? See, they know this. They know that these things alter your existence. They alter your mind, thereby opening up your doorways or your gates or your channels and allow entities to enter into you. That's why Prince teaches that you shouldn't drink wine. You shouldn't smoke that weed. You shouldn't do anything that's going to alter your mind. Nothing. Don't do any of those things that's going to alter your mind toward negativity. And that's what they know this, and that's why they say wine and spirits. They know that spirits come along with you drinking. They know that. And only those who are weak, only those who need support and confidence or help expressing themselves or some kind of way to find a relaxing state and allow their minds to be altered do these things. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do a lot of the things, but I don't do them because I dislike them. I do them because I know that these are things that are not good if you're trying to live and serve and worship the Creator on the highest level possible. Okay? And if you're doing that, there's no reason for you to be intoxicated or anything. Smoking any opium or weed or crack or marijuana or cigarettes even. There's no reason for you to do any of these things. Get your natural stimulation by being good to people, by helping people, by being understanding and educating people. Get your natural stimulation through those things, by obeying the words of the Creator and walking in truthfulness after His commands. That's how you get your natural high, your natural stimulation. Okay? You don't need any artificial ingredient to come into you to elevate you to that higher level. None. All right. So are there any questions, family? Go ahead, Nat. Wonderful, bro. I stopped that sipping. That's good. Wonderful. And it's hard for people to do, but I'm pleased and I'm happy that you're at that place right now. And you watch the difference in life. Watch the reality. But before you see the reality, you're going to see your body go through a withdrawal. Because that demon that calls you to do that is going to fight against you. He's going to try to force you. He's going to test you for you to give in and go and get that drink and give him that pleasure. He's going to do that. Just like with everything else. The young man that was a homosexual decided, no longer am I going to be a homosexual. Those demons didn't leave because he said, I'm not going to do it. Those demons will keep coming and trying to attack him even in his sleep. They will come and try to make him have homosexual dreams. Thereby, if he get a homosexual dream, he's going to wake up and want to have homosexual acts. Think about it, fam. How many times you been laying next to your wife and you thought about having sex in your dream and you rolled over, you woke up and you just began to have sex with your wife? These things are real, man. But a lot of people don't understand what it is that I'm sharing with you today, fam. And I'm not sharing these things because I hate you. It's the complete opposite. I want to see what's best for you. And I want to see you do what's best for you. And the Heavenly Father wants to see what's best for you. The Heavenly Father wants you to do what's best for you. Okay? So let's go on, fam. That's right, Hador. Ima Hador in the house. Shalom, shalom, Imi. That's right. That's right. It's the Creator Spirit that will cleanse your demons. She's absolutely right. And you have to invite the Creator in you. Remember when I used to teach you years ago or months ago or even weeks ago, or every time I teach my lesson, I always say to you, don't ask your wife to do anything that she's not willing to do for you. Don't force her to do anything that she's not voluntarily willing to do. Same thing with the Most High. The Most High don't want you to do nothing that you're not willing to do for him. Nothing. And if you allow them demons to possess you, the Most High is going to give you over to your desires. And they're going to totally consume you. And you're not going to be able to understand what's happening. You're not going to be able to understand. You're going to be consumed with those demons. That's all you see. And when somebody speaks against what those demons are doing and try to get you to elevate in righteousness, you're going to resist them individuals. You're going to fight against them individuals. And what are you going to do? You're going to give in. And you're going to remain on that level where you are. And thereby, it just may cause all types of evil, negative, and bad things to come into your life. Bad experiences to come into your life. Because you're not allowing the Spirit of the Most High to govern you. You're allowing the spirit of the adversary to govern you. That's the difference. We got to fight it, fam. Jealousy, hatred, envy, lying, stealing, perversions, wickedness, selfishness, slandering. All these things are different entities that we allow to control us. And it begins with us. In our youth, they begin to feed us these things. And it grows and it develops within us. And it destroys us. It holds us back. All right. If there's any questions on that, post your questions and we'll try to address your questions. But other than that, I'm going to move on to another topic before I begin to move forward. It's another topic that I want to bring up. A little bit of information, just for the information for the people. Something you probably don't know, something you're probably not aware of. But I want to share this with you just to educate you a little bit about certain things. Okay? A lot of Hebrews smoke hemp. What does Isaiah 42:3 says about smoking? Well, my brother, I'm going to tell you right now, and you might not believe me, but my hand beats the creator. This is the absolute truth. Go out and research it. A lot of people are not smoking hemp. A lot of people, the majority of the people, I would say 99.9% of the people are smoking a bunch of chemicals that the United States government has put out into circulation and making you believe that you're smoking hemp. That's it. That's not hemp. I don't even know what Isaiah says, but whatever you say it says, bro, I'm with you. I'm not going to fight with you. I'm with you. But a lot of people are smoking what they think is marijuana, the plant, but it's not. Now, there's some people who may grow it on their own. They may be smoking the plant, and it brings medicine and healing properties to the body and all that stuff. But the majority of our people are doing it for recreational use. And the majority of our people are not smoking the plant. They're smoking chemicals that are made in a laboratory, genetically modified, altered things, and they're consuming it, and it elevates their mind, it messes with their mind, it destroys their body, and it's killing them, but they don't realize it. They don't know it. And it's bad for you. So this is why I would just suggest you stay away from it. This government, this not just this government, but the collection of those governments, they sit in a council. The Most High told us that way back in the book, in Psalms. It said, the adversary has waged war against the people of the Most High, his elect. They have come together with one consent. And this is true. They did that, they do that, and they're still doing it. Now, what they are coming together to do is destroy you and me. And they understand that some of them is going to have to go down with us. So they put things in our water. They put stuff in our foods. It's not even safe, family, and I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to take my time because I care about you and I want to elevate you. So I'm going to say this to you as well. You could accept it or reject it. Do whatever you want with it. But that deodorant you put on under your arms, that deodorant is another manufactured way of poisoning you. When you put deodorant on under your arms, first of all, you're putting large traces of aluminum and other chemicals into your body. Second of all, you need your lymph nodes to do certain tasks in your life. You clog your lymph nodes arteries so that they cannot perform the job that they were made to perform. Thereby, you wearing this deodorant think about it, every day of your life since your youth, putting these chemicals in your body, allowing your body to absorb. I don't wear deodorant. I could not tell you the last time I wore deodorant. I couldn't tell you the last time I wore deodorant. I don't even remember. I might have been 10, 12. I don't know. It's been that long. But these things are poisonous. Deodorant, toothpaste. I was watching a video with my daughter yesterday in the truck while we were riding around. And the video was about the fluoride that they put in the toothpaste and the fluoride that they put in the drinking water that comes out of our faucets. A lot of other countries don't do it. They destroyed the use of it because fluoride is a dangerous chemical. They teach us from our youth, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your teeth. Fluoride strengthens your bones. Fluoride fights bacteria. You need fluoride, and dentists come up learning this information that you need fluoride, that fluoride is good for you, and fluoride is poison. I put a video up in my room. I don't know the name of the video, but y'all can watch it. Just go down my timeline, and you'll see a video about a man talking about all these different products that's in the stores that are dangerous for your health. I'm talking about those things that block your mind so that your mind can't operate properly. These things are dangerous. You smoke cigarettes, you smoke weed, you drink liquor, and you think nothing about it. You don't even pay attention to what it's doing to your health, what it's doing to the way you think, how your motor skills are being deprived and held back from accelerating to their fullest capacity. And you get accustomed to that condition, and you think that's just how smart you are. You're way smarter than where you're allowing yourself to travel to right now. All right. We got a lot of work to do, fam. We got a lot of work to do. A lot of work, but we got to get started somewhere. We have to start somewhere. I would ask that you start today. One more thing, and then I'm going to leave it alone. That's right, Emma. And we must humble ourselves. This is the covenant, thus returning us back to our land, when the Creator will give us rest from our enemies and his wickedness. But the thing is, Emma, the Most High don't want to take us back to our land if we got the same problems here and we're going to take this same wickedness and evil back to the land. We holding up our own process. We got to leave this foolishness alone. We got to change our behavior down. We got to force these demons out of us right here in the land of our captivity so that when we do go home to our land, we can go back a new creature. But this is the last thing I want to bring to your attention right now, fam, so that you can begin to alleviate these things out of your life. And that is sugar, white sugar, brown sugar, organic cane sugar, any kind of sugar that you eat. Fructose high corn syrup sugar is dangerous for you. Extremely dangerous. Another mind-altering ingredient. But not only does sugar alter your mind, sugar also alters your body. And the production of your bodies and your organs, sugar attacks them and kills them. You should not consume sugar. If it's a naturally occurring sugar, like in fruit, that's great. That's excellent. You can eat that because your body absorbs that. It needs that. But those other sugars destroy you. They're dangerous. They will harm you. They will destroy you. And they will put you in an early grave, which you can avoid. And that's right, sis. That's wonderful. Agave is pretty good. Although agave have its downsides, but it's nowhere near like sugar. Okay? Honey, agave. And let me tell you some other sweeteners. There's another sweetener that would be really good for people, and it's beet juice. Beet juice is an excellent sweetener. Beets are real sweet, and beet juice is an excellent sweetener. You can put beet juice in your blender and mix it up when you make your smoothies. Beet juice is good. You don't need sugar, you don't need agave, you don't need honey, you don't need none of that. But agave, honey, beet juice, and one more thing that I really don't like to eat. I stay away from this food if I can, but I ain't gonna tell you. You might eat it, so that's your decision. But carrots. Carrots are real sweet also. And carrot juice can sweeten your food as well. All right? So there's a lot of different things that you can utilize instead of sugar. But get sugar out of your life completely. And watch. You know when you get those aches in your body, your fingers, your legs, a lot of people call it arthur or arthritis. They can't hardly walk up steps. Their back hurts. A lot of people go get observation. A lot of people undergo the knife. They go get surgeries and things of that nature to cure a lot of the things and the illnesses that they have in their body, not realizing that a lot of those things come from the sugar you eat. All you need to do is stop eating the sugars. But the doctors ain't going to tell you that because the doctors is getting money from you. Okay? The doctors are getting money from you from coming to them so that they can perform these operations on you. But they know all they got to do is tell you to stop eating sugar and stop eating things like high fructose corn syrup. Stop eating those things, and a lot of those pains and illnesses that you feel throughout your body. Man, you will never know I am as old as I am. You will never know. You know why? Because I eat right. I eat to the best of my ability. Every once in a while, you'll see me consume a little bit of cake or a little bit of apple pie. You'll see me eat a little junk ice cream every once in a while. But that's not my diet. Those are the little things that I do to treat myself every once in a while, and I show it off to the world when I do. But on the most part, my diet is strict. I have a strong, rigid diet. And most people wouldn't even be able to achieve the little bit of food that I eat. There used to be a time when I would only eat once a day. And when I did eat, see, I'm vegan. I'm totally vegan. I don't eat no food, no regular stuff. I'm vegan. So a lot of stuff that a lot of people eat that causes sickness in their bodies, like steak, chicken, fish. All those things have chemicals in them. And when you consume those animals, those chemicals go into your body. When those chemicals, they're not killed off because you cook it. They're not dead because the chemicals went into the fish and the fish consumed it. They become a part of the fish or a part of the chicken or a part of the cow. And then when you eat them, those chemicals go into your bloodstream and affect different organs throughout your body. Yeah, you're right, sis. Make fun of me now. Okay, gotcha. So what I'm saying is, a lot of times the pains that you feel is because of the food that you eat. Sometimes women have portions of cycle when they bleed beyond their time. They'll go to the doctor and the doctor say, hey, we got to scrape the inside of your uterus. Those things are not necessary. Watch the foods that you eat. Watch the foods that you eat. Most women who eat a healthy diet, their cycles is like very minimum for a day or two, maybe a day or two. And it's not even really a whole lot of flow. It's a limited amount of access, a little bit of blood. So all of these things, your diet directly affects your body and how you move, your thinking capabilities, your learning capabilities, your spiritual development, a lot of the things. The older you get, the stronger and better your body should get. Stay away from fried foods. You shouldn't fry foods at all. Most foods should be baked in the oven. And if you do fry foods, make sure you eat all natural oils, like canola oil. This is something that is really funny, but I got to say this. Yeah, you're right, sis. I mean, you're right. You're right. The languages were at odds with each other. You're right. Kayela know what she's doing. She's making fun of me, laughing at me. All right, but here we go. Has anybody ever seen a canola plant? What is a canola fruit? So then thereby, what is canola oil? Canola oil is a combination of chemicals that they put together for people to consume. And we use it readily, steadily, because it's the cheapest. All right? There is no such thing as a canola plant, a canola oil. It don't happen. So why eat it? Why eat it? Here's the thing. Here's the key. This is how I like to see things. When I get out the shower and I'm ashy because I'm a man of color. So what happens is when we wash off the exterior surface, our skin gets a little bit dry. When your skin get a little bit dry and you go in your room and you lotion off and you put chemicals on your body, that's only a temporary covering. But what really happens is that lotion is full of chemicals that you're putting into your bloodstream directly. Into your bloodstream. Your body is the most porous portion of your body. It absorbs the flesh. It absorbs more than anything else in your body. Your flesh will absorb it quicker. So when you absorb that, you don't have to put things in your mouth just to absorb it. You can put it on your flesh and you'll absorb it. That's why certain things the Creator tell you do not touch, because He understood that you are absorbing these things into your body once you touch them. These toxic things, you're actually voluntarily, willingly, Johnson & Johnson's baby lotion, baby oil. And the baby oil got chemicals in it that even babies shouldn't eat, put on to use or put in their flesh. But we're rubbing our body down with this aloe vera lotion, eczema lotion, and creams and all these things because temporarily they give us a little bit of relief from the ashiness or the stiffness that we feel. But over the long haul of things, these are the things that directly affect your bloodstream that make you sick. Anything that you put on your body, you should be able to put in your mouth as a food. And it should grow in the earth. Then you can put it in your body. You can rub it on your lips. You can do whatever you want to do with it. But it's all natural. Your body will digest it properly. It will rub into your bloodstream correctly. You know what I use the lotion off with? Olive oil. Been using it all my days. All my life. I've been using olive oil. I would say at least since I was old enough to pick up a bottle of olive oil and rub it on myself. I don't like lotions. Even cocoa butter. If it ain't the cocoa plant, then you ain't using cocoa butter. They will say 100% cocoa butter on the package, but it ain't that. It ain't that. Unless you making the cocoa butter yourself, you ain't using 100% cocoa butter. There are chemicals in it, first of all, to make it creamy and to keep it loose so that you can use it. If you bust open a coconut is hard. So because you scrape some of the coconut out, ain't going to make the coconut soft. Think about it. You got to take the coconut through a process in order for it to get that way. They say coconut butter, but it ain't. It's something else up in there with the coconut that you don't know about. There you go. Another thing is that I want you to know, fam, is this. I just had it on the tip of my tongue, and I forget. Oh, certain foods that we eat are natural foods. But anyway, anything you put on your body should be something that grows or something that's natural that you get from the earth. Thereby, you rub that on your body and it'll help heal you. It'll correct the situation you got. And you ain't got to worry about it poisoning you. I haven't forgotten about marriages, sis. I'm going to get right there. That's the clutch of the message. But these are important things that we need to know as a people to keep us healthy, to keep us functioning in the right spirit, you know? You should look into the company out, and you should look into the chemicals that they use to put into the foods to keep the foods a certain way, but yet they can still say that these chemicals or this product is 100% natural. Let me tell you something I just learned the other day. And then I'm going to move on forward to today's lesson. This is something I just learned the other day. You know those products you buy that says sugar-free? You know those sodas, like the sodas we drink? Y'all drink, I don't drink them. But the sodas we drink that say sugar-free, or the foods we eat that say sugar-free. Sugar-free don't mean that they don't have sugar in them. And we ain't talking about natural sugar. We talking about synthetically engineered sugar. See, they can say sugar-free as long as they don't put whole grain sugar in the product. But what they do is they take a chemical and put a chemical like fructose corn syrup, and they'll sweeten it with those things. And we consume them. And we eat them. Thereby making that thing poisonous. You understand? That's right. Aspartame does cause cancer. A lot of things that they do to us in their little secret languages that we don't understand. It's because we don't research. It's because we don't study. And then those of us with the knowledge is not busy enough sharing this knowledge with the people. We hoard the knowledge and keep it to ourselves. Oh, me and my family, we ain't going to do this, but y'all can do it. Instead of sharing that knowledge with our people. All the things that I've discussed today are different methods of serving the Creator. Different methods. Think about it. If you smoke cigarettes, what commandment are you violating? If you smoke cigarettes, where is that at in the scriptures, Prince? Where does it say I can't smoke cigarettes in the scriptures? Where does it say I can't smoke weed in the scriptures? If you're smoking cigarettes, you're breaking the commandments of the Creator. And I promise you, you are. Well, what commandment, Prince? And I'm going to share with you the commandment that you're breaking. If you take a pack of cigarettes and you read the label on a pack of cigarettes, there's a warning there on the pack of cigarettes. What does that warning say? Warning! Cigarette smoking may cause death. Why do they put that there? Because when you consume that smoke, it will kill you eventually. When you drink liquor, what is cirrhosis of the liver? What is cirrhosis of the liver? Cirrhosis of the liver, 9 times out of 10, comes from people drinking too much alcohol. Okay? If alcohol will kill you, cigarettes will kill you, but the Creator says, thou shalt not commit murder, then what are you doing but killing yourself? You're just killing yourself slowly. If the Most High says, thou shalt not commit murder, do you think that just means that you shouldn't murder somebody else? It also means you shouldn't murder yourself. Thereby, you should change your habits. Anything that you know that you do that is not going to help to prolong your life, you should alleviate it from your life. Well, Prince, you starting to talk about too many things. It is everything going to kill you. The food you eat, you buy it from the store, it will kill you. Then go get some land, plant some seeds, and grow your own food, like we're doing. Grow your own food. The air you breathe will kill you. That's why we're wearing masks today. Don't you believe that lie? Ain't nothing in the air trying to kill you. Them people got another way of exterminating us. And it ain't got nothing to do with that little mask you got on your face. If that mask was doing anything to protect you from what these people got out here in this earth, a lot of the people that died wouldn't die because most of them were wearing masks. Some of them had 2 or 3 masks on and they still dead. Now, I'm not making fun of the people that are dead. I'm trying to bring awareness to what's going on in this earth right now is not going to be protected by a mask or some hand sanitizers. That ain't it. A lot of the way that this death and destruction is coming, but it's in so many different ways that we don't have no idea how to fight it. We do know how to fight it. But you refuse to because these things bring you too much luxury in your life. Cell phones. Cell phones. The towers to promote the call to go from one place to another is affecting our bodies. That 5G is killing us. But we don't come together and do anything about it because we enjoy the luxury. I'm coming to you right now, probably on a 5G from a cell phone somewhere, from a tower somewhere. They don't have to use 5G. It's bad enough that the 4G was something radiating in the air. But now 5G is 100 times worse. There's been reports that I read when they got a plant next to a 5G, a simple modem in the house. A plant sitting next to the modem and the plant refuses to grow. Because the radiation that comes off of that modem that we got in our house will kill the plant. You see, we got a way to do it, but for the sake of advancing in technology, we're causing human casualties. And we're freely doing these things. There are ways that there are foods that we can eat to help prevent a lot of the radiation that we are taking in, the radio waves and things, but we don't do it. Green vegetables like fruit, kale, natural vegetables. A lot of these things will help fight off and get the radiation out of our body, but we don't do those things. We too busy eating cheesesteaks and hamburgers and pork chops and eating applesauce and white bread and wheat bread and all those things that we don't take the time to really consider that these things are killing us. All right, fam. And iodine, that's another one. Iodine purges a lot of the radiation from the bodies as well. That's absolutely correct. That little sister be studying. Go ahead, girl. Get your study on. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So we're going to get started in our lesson today. Are there any questions before we move forward? I think we did enough of humanitarianism today. I think we did enough of our humanitarianism for a minute to help educate our people into the proper way of life and direction that we should be moving. Eventually, we plan on eating 100% from our home. You got it out. That's our plan as well. I eat a lot of mushrooms, spinach, lettuce, cherries, tomatoes, all kinds of greens, is told. That's correct. I had something that I wanted to share, but it slipped my mind. So if it comes back, then I'll mention it. And if it doesn't come back, then may the Creator give it to you on your own so that you'll get that knowledge. Because I slipped up and forgot it. Oh, I remember it now. See, the Most High wanted me to share this with you. If you're a brother or sister and you still shopping in the supermarkets for your food, which we do, we shop for a lot of our foods in the supermarkets. What I suggest you do is travel 30, 40, or even 50 miles away from your home. Get out of the hood. Don't go where a lot of black people live to buy your food, to buy your groceries. Go where the majority of the people are white, European, and they got some money, some KSF. Go shopping in their stores. Go shopping in their supermarkets. Go to their neighborhoods and buy your food. Don't buy the food from our neighborhoods. Do not go around the corner and buy your Tide, your laundry detergent, your dishwashing liquid. Don't buy those things from the neighborhood store. Don't buy your food from the neighborhood store. Travel in the white people neighborhood, in the European people neighborhood, in the Caucasians people's neighborhood, and buy from their stores. The Walmart in your neighborhood is going to be killing you a lot quicker. So go travel. Do that extra traveling. Your body will thank you for it later. Do that extra traveling, to travel those extra miles to go shopping and buy your groceries, buy your food for your home, and bring it home. Travel that extra distance. Believe me, that's what I do. When I go to the store to buy food, it takes me at least about 25, 30 minutes to get to the store. And I got a supermarket right around the corner. But I don't go there. I don't shop there unless I want some trash bags or some napkins or some paper plates. Other than that, anything that's going in my body or I'm going to eat or consume or is going to be up against my flesh like soap powder or dishwashing liquid, I don't get it from those stores. So I would advise you to do the same thing. Travel that extra distance to go get the foods that's going to help preserve your life as opposed to the neighborhood store, because they're trying to kill us first. They want the black people to die off first. The people of color, the Hebrews, they want us to be eradicated before anyone else. So I would suggest you go out and you buy your foods in those neighborhoods. And as the sister said, Shavanya, buy organic foods. Try to buy everything you can organic. At the very bare minimum, make sure the food you buy is non-GMO. But at the very bare minimum, buy non-GMO. If they have what you need, make sure it's organic. Okay? All right. But go to their neighborhoods where they ain't really trying to kill their people like they're killing us. Now, a lot of neighborhoods might have a mixture of both black and white. That food might be all right. But the food where they got predominantly Europeans and they wealthy, that's where the best food is going to be. Drinking water. Buy your drinking water up there too. Don't drink the drinking water out the spigot because it's dangerous. It'll kill you. Drink your drinking water out of a well, or if you have to buy store-bought drinking water, buy your store-bought drinking water in the neighborhoods where those rich people are. That's what you should do. Okay? So I'm going to leave off with that. I believe that that's all I need to cover on this instance for now. I think I gave you a lot to think about. So I don't even know, man. We didn't talk so long, we might can close the class out now. We done went like an hour and a half. Shoot, we might keep the other class for next week. What y'all think? What y'all want to do? Y'all tell me what y'all want to do. Let me know. You want to hold this to next week and we just come back, bring it back even stronger, or you want to keep the class going on now? Which one y'all want to do? What y'all want to do? Tell me what y'all want to do. Either we're going to talk about marriage today or we can talk about marriage next week, because we've been teaching for an hour and a half now. Hour and a half. It's 1:25. We start at 11:55. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anunnaki. Well, I tell you, boy, these guys be doing some research. Reptilians. Do you have anything on this? I guess we're going to have to have a class on that one day. I guess we're going to have a class on that. Okay? I want to know what you were adding to the marriage stuff. We in class. We in class. All right. Y'all want to keep going? Well, next time, next week. Yeah. Creator willing. Now I'm going to tell you what I had in store for next week's class. Next week's class, I had a lesson on the Star of David, the Magen Dawid, the Shield of David. Now, tomorrow I can't do a lesson because I'm spending the day with my daughter tomorrow. I have a couple online class. I have a couple conference calls that I have to do, but then the rest of my day is going to be dedicated to my daughter. So I can't do any classes tomorrow. So whatever we do, we got to do today. If we ain't going to do it today, we'll put it off till next week. Okay? Dread, Yisrael Light, my man. Anunnaki, a lot of history on the Anunnaki and the reptilians. A lot of history, a lot of stuff to talk about. So maybe one day you and I can bust it up on the phone or something. Because even when I tell it, a lot of the information, a lot of people ain't going to believe it. If I told you right now that the Anunnaki was giants and they're still here in the earth today, a lot of people ain't going to believe it. Their DNA is still here, and their DNA is in a lot of the people today. If I tell you that the reptilians and the Anunnakis intermingled and they came up with a species of people that they call white people, a lot of people won't believe it today. A lot of people won't accept it. So maybe we need to have that conversation over the phone. All right? Maybe you and I one day. Hit me in my inbox, man. I'll pass you my number if you ain't already got it. So we can bust it up and talk about these things. Because a lot of people ain't ready for this information. They're not ready for it. Their minds can't perceive what's reality. Okay. You got notes about what, Kayala? What is it that you want to talk about? What subject do you have notes about? The Anunnaki? The reptilians? What you got notes about? Yes, definitely next time. The reptilians. Okay, wonderful. All right, y'all. So we're going to close it out. We're going to close out class today. We're going to close our class. We're going to leave off here. Yeah, I got you. I'm going to hit you. We're going to leave off class here today. We're going to stop here. And then next week, we're going to get into... See, if I stop here, then I'm not going to be keeping my word. I don't like to say I'm going to do something and then don't do it. So even if I do a little bit of it, I'm keeping my word. So I got to keep my word. So we're gonna do a little bit of the wedding today. We're going to talk a little bit about marriage today. I got to keep my word. I can't be deceitful to the family. All right, because if I don't do it, then that means I lied to you, and I don't never want to lie to you. So I'm going to have to keep my word in one way, shape, or form or another. So let's talk about weddings. Wait a minute. I did talk about wet sexual relations earlier, didn't I? I did talk a little bit about it, but I didn't talk about weddings and the many assets of it. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to get a little bit into the wedding situation. Now, let's start with the weddings. Now, how are we going to start this? We're going to start off in the ancient days and how marriages became into play all the way up into where we're at in the modern days. And we're going to travel into a lot of different cultures and environments and how they did things in the ancient days versus how we do things in the modern days today. We're going to talk a little bit about weddings, okay? Weddings, marriages, and things of that nature. All right? So let's get started. Wedding, an event regarded in scriptures as a ceremony by which a man and a woman were joined together as husband and wife, and legally entitled to the form of separate family unit. The betrothal was when they were engaged, when this man and this woman was engaged. This man has decided, he has went to the father of the damsel, of the woman, of the betula, or of the alma, the woman, the young lady, or she could be an older lady, however it is. He went to the father, he said, hey, I want to marry your daughter. The father says, okay, well, this is what I want for you to give me in exchange for my daughter's hand. So then he pays the dowry or the bride's price, whatever it is that's being asked of him, because there is a difference between a bride's price and a dowry. A dowry is when you're buying a woman, a virgin woman. A bride's price is she don't have to necessarily be a virgin. She could just be a woman who's had children, maybe the husband died, or she could be a divorced woman, but the father, she went back to her father's house as prescribed in the scriptures, and then a man come along and say, hey, I want to marry her. You don't pay a dowry for her, you pay a bride's price. You give a less amount of money than you do for a value for a virgin. A virgin, a betula, is way more expensive than a woman who's had intercourse or bear children by a man previously. So there's a difference. When a man marries a woman, he can still be responsible for paying a price for that woman, because you're taking that woman from that environment to your environment. You have to replace whatever she was producing in their father's house or whatever she was doing for her father's house. You have to compensate the father or the elder or the spiritual leader, whomever it is. You have to compensate them in some way to take that woman to yourself. That's what you should do. You don't have to do it if it's not required. But if it's required of you and you want that woman, then you got to pay that bride price. If you want that virgin, the man tells you how much he wants to sell you his virgin, or not to sell, because he's not like he's selling her, but he is selling her. But it's not like he's selling her, but he is selling her. It's more like he's trying to give it to you and in compensation for something else. Okay? But he is selling her. But he ain't selling her. He is selling her. So thereby, when you get her to yourself, you're taking possession of her. She belongs to you. Okay? All right. The betrothal was a significant, binding, legal commitment for the forthcoming marriage. Now, a betrothal, when a man took to him a wife, he was expected to marry that woman. You don't enter into betrothal with the expectations of, I'm going to get rid of her after I have intercourse with her, or if she's not as pleasing to me sexually, I'm going to let her ride off to the side and I'm divorce her. No, the betrothal process goes like this. You should be in betrothal to this woman, getting to know this woman prior to having intercourse with this woman. Now here the book is going to say a betrothal lasts for a year. We say, in our customs today, it can go from 6 months to a year. The normal, most common one is 6 months. All right? So now, in that betrothal process, the man is trying to figure out if this woman is going to be a good fit for my family. If this woman ain't going to be a good fit, then that betrothal process gives you the opportunity to relinquish her from your custody or relinquish her from your commitment and let her move on with her life through that betrothal process. Okay? If that betrothal process is successful or one that you're pleased with, then you have you're supposed to take that woman to be your wife, or you'll be deceiving her. If you didn't cut her off during the process of that betrothal or that courtship, and you kept her with the ideal that you're going to be my wife, at the end of that courtship, if you terminated that courtship, then you don't have any problem not taking her to be a wife. All right? At the time of the betrothal, gifts of jewels, which were often made of gold, set with precious stones, would be presented to the girl and sometimes to her mother, and depending on the society, the bride price or dowry or contract will also be exchanged. Now let's think about that for a minute. When the man decides that he's, now I'm going to show you something, bro, because this is a deep thing right here. When a man decides that he wants to marry a woman, and he goes and it's accepted by the father and the family, hey, you can marry our child. And he goes, now big boss men, you know what I'm saying? Big boss men, real men that's about their business, this is how they do things. He would go and he would give the woman gifts, but he would also give the mother or the father a gift as well. Yeah. It might not be nothing extravagant, as what they say, in gold and diamonds and precious stones and all that stuff. But when you give to the woman, you give to the parents as well, to let the parents know this, your daughter's in good hands. I got her. What that will do is that kind of like culminates the mind frame of of you into that family. It brings it all together. It allows them to be able to accept you a whole lot easier. But you can't do it in deception. You got to be real about it. It has to be within you. It allows that transition to be a lot easier when you get gifts for the mother and the father along with the woman that you're trying to bring to yourself. See, the whole idea is to show the family that you're willing and able to provide for their child as your own. So you have to influence them and persuade them to understand that you're in position to do so. Now, if you go get a wife and you say, hey, listen, sir, I want to marry your daughter. And the man say, okay, I want you to give me 100 shekels of silver or $10,000 for my wife, for my daughter. And you say, well, I ain't got no 10,000. Then you can't have that man's wife, his daughter. You can't have that man's daughter, except if the man renegotiates with you and comes to a smaller price that you possibly can afford. This is why a lot of people don't go with that today. This is why a lot of people won't even mention a bride's price, or they really don't even want to bring it into play because they don't have the money to do so. Let me clear the table for you. There's a brother named Shar Shemuel that you all should be aware of. Good brother. Sar wrote a post right after we did our last class. And his post was very informative, and it caused me to see that it was something that I left out in my messages. I took that post and I shared it to my page. And this is it. Charles Simmons. And this is it. I don't want you to think for a moment that you have to be rich. The only thing that you have to be is able to provide for your woman. So don't allow all the pressings and teachings of, you gotta have this, you gotta have that, you gotta have that. You don't have to have all of those things. But a lot of those things are requirements, like a place for the woman to live. Food, clothing, and shelter are extremely important when you're taking a wife. You ain't got to buy her the best of cars, a $150,000 car. You don't have to do those things because you might not have that wealth, and that doesn't mean that you don't qualify to take a wife. The most important things in taking a wife is your mind state, how you're going to treat her, okay? You don't have to be the richest man, that 1% of men. You don't have to be that. If you do, you just... If you do, you just what they call a high value man. That's all. And there's not a lot of high value men. But if you're not a high value man, that doesn't mean that you cannot marry a woman. You just have to provide food, clothing, and shelter for that woman in order for you to take a wife. A lot of men, they listen to my lessons and they miss the majority of the part, and they think that they got to go out and get this large bankroll before they can go take a wife. That's not the case. You don't have to be super, super wealthy, or you ain't got to be wealthy. You ain't got to be rich. You ain't got to have a whole lot of money. You must have food, clothing, and shelter, or able to provide those things for a wife before you can take a wife. No exceptions. So Sar was correct in the way that he broke it down. I don't remember how he broke it down, but I know that that was the main gist of his point. You just have to be able to provide for a wife to take a wife. You don't have to be super wealthy and rich. There are some of them, some of us, some men who are super, they mind is somewhere else when it comes to providing for their women. You don't have to be there. And I'm not saying that that's what you have to do to take a wife. But you must, for the third time, I believe for the third time, might be the fourth time, but you must be able to provide food, clothing, and shelter before you take a wife. And if you cannot provide those things, then you can court a woman while you're building up to get those things, but you shouldn't take her for your wife until after you're able to provide those things. And understand that. Okay? Very well. Are there any questions? I don't think so. So let's move forward. Here we go. Boy, I tell you, I love these classes. I just love them. A commitment that would be broken only by death or divorce. At the time of the betrothal, gifts of jewels, which were often made of gold or precious stones, were to be presented to the girl and sometimes her mother, and depending on the society, the bride's price or dowry or contract will also be exchanged. Now I can see the value in that. You would provide those things so that the family would know what to expect of you. The woman needs to provide her willingness. She must be able to, the woman must be able to cause the livelihood of the man to increase. She has to be submissive. She has to be obedient. She has to be willing to work with the man to elevate everything that they're doing to a higher level of enrichment. If she's taking away from that man's energy, then he shouldn't have her as a wife because he can't operate and function properly. If she's adding to the man's energy, then she's a very valuable asset. Very valuable. Okay? Anytime a man takes a woman, there should be purpose behind it. There should be purpose motivating his desire or his reason for taking her. There should always be purpose. When a man desires to take a wife, how does she fit into my life? What part of my lives are empty or lacking that she can come in and help to fulfill that role in my life? See, it always has to be a purpose for a woman in a man's life. No man should just be taking women just to be sexing them. Oh man, she good. She look good. She got a big butt. She got some nice tits. And I just want to have sex with her. But the Torah says the only way I can have sex is if I marry her. He's out of his mind. That man is crazy. He got issues. Any man that takes a wife should take a wife with purpose in mind. For example, I got 15, 20 properties and I need some help to help me to run it. I need a manager. So instead of me taking and hiring a management company, I might as well take a wife because I do live here by myself. I could use some help around the home as well. And I do want some more children. So let me go get a wife. That's purpose. Now, while you're out searching for a wife, you know what your purpose is. But this woman that looks all pretty in the face with the big booties and breasts, she don't fit your purpose. You shouldn't marry her because that marriage won't last. You're bringing a woman in. She's a liability, not an asset. There's nothing good to her. Okay? A woman who has kids, does she have the same value as a woman who's not? No! No, 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 no. What do you mean, Prince? Why do you say that so drastically, so emphatically? A woman who comes into a marriage with kids is more of an asset. I mean, more of a liability. Because you have to pay more out for just to feed the kids. You got to teach the kids. You got to nurture the children as along with you feed and nurturing her. So that's more of a liability. A woman with no children, man, you just got to feed her. You got to nurture her. That's easier and simpler for you to do. And she can bring so much more value to the family. But, let me put that but on there because I got to say it. If you got a woman with children, and this woman is unbelievably great, then it would benefit you to take that woman with those children. It would benefit you because she can bring so much more to your life than a woman with no children, with no kids, but is a liability. Or she just might be a little bit smart, but she ain't nowhere near as smart, nowhere near as with the ability that that woman who has 3 or 4 children, but the man died or the man divorced her and didn't know what he had. Believe me, a woman like that can benefit you tremendously. Believe me. But she got to have that mind. She got to have that ability. And if she has it, then yeah, she's more valuable to you than a virgin. She is. Because she will come in and set the record straight. She'll come in and enhance you. You know how you got a good woman? When she come and stay with you for a couple days and she leave and everything around you has increased, you know you got a good woman. And not that y'all having sex, y'all could be courting. But if she comes and stay in your home for a couple days, even while y'all courting and y'all not falling in lust with each other, y'all falling in love with each other. Even while y'all courting the right way, she comes in and she spend the weekend with you. No foul play is going on, but this is all honesty. And when she leaves your home, you look around, you be like, damn, this is what a woman does to your home. That woman has value. Now, that kind of woman brings value to a man's life. Just because she got children don't mean she can't bring you value, because she can. But on the average, if you take a woman with no children and a woman with children and think that they on level playing fields, they're not. But there is some exceptions to the rule that that woman with the children will be far beneficial for your marriage and serve a whole lot more purpose than that woman with no children. Just because she ain't got no children don't mean she on point for your purpose in your life. Don't mean that she on point because she ain't got no children. Her mind has to be right. And I don't care how many children she had, if she got that mind, man, I wouldn't mind raising 15 of them children. Some other man's children. 15 she could have if she got that perfect mind. Because them children, she going to have all that in place. She going to have all that in check. She going to know how to handle all that. And you ain't got to divert your attention. Sure, you still got to supply the needs and the means. That's cool. But the wisdom is this. The amount of wealth that a woman with the right mind will bring into your marriage, you won't even notice the liability of those children because you'll be making so much more. You'll be bringing in so much more. She will be worth her weight in gold. That's what the scripture says about a good wife. She's worth her weight in gold, believe me. But you got an average woman, Israelite woman, the average chick, nah, you don't want that. Unless you're an average man. If you're an average man, then you deserve an average woman. But if you're that 1% of men, and you know what your future holds, and you're working toward a goal and how to accomplish something, then you need a woman that's going to help you to get there. And not a woman that's going to hold you back and prolong you 5 and 10 years later. Be careful when you pick a mate. When you pick a mate, let it have purpose in mind. Let you pick a mate because you see some substance. You see a reason how she can help your life and enhance your life. Don't go into it thinking that, well, I got everything I need. I can pick anything I want. Because if you pick the wrong woman, she's going to take your life back a couple notches, like 3, 4, 5 notches. Believe me, she can hold up your progress for another 10, 15, 20 years because you chose the wrong woman. That's why you got to be careful of the woman you choose. You got to marry the right woman. And she might not be perfect, but she can serve her. She got it. She got it going on. She speak well. She do her job well. You ain't got to follow behind her with a stick talking about, didn't I ask you to call and make some flights for us so we can go to Jamaica? Oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh, yeah, hold on. Let me do it now. You come back a week later, baby, didn't I ask you to make the flight so we can get the tickets a little bit cheaper? See, she's saving you money. When she did it the first time, she was saving you KSF. So it was working in your favor. She kept her word, her promise, her commitment to you. She handling it. Those are just small things and small examples that I'm talking about. But that woman is worth her weight in gold. She will make it worthwhile for you to take her. Even with all the mistakes that she made in her life with the different men that she chose, she's a new creature now because she came before the Most High, asked the Most High to forgive her for her past life, and she's taken up a new life now. She's a new being. She's serving the Creator with more energy and more enthusiasm. She's on point. She's a woman of her word. She don't open up her legs to any and everybody that come and blow when the wind blows. She open her legs. She used to be like that. She ain't nowhere near like that no more. Nowhere near like that. She about her business and trying to be the best she can be and really dedicate herself to this king. That woman is a valuable woman. And we have to pay attention. That's why that courtship is so important. Because that courtship will tell you a lot about the woman. Who she is. How she moves. What her desires and plans are. Now, a lot of times, a woman will fool you in that courtship. But you got to know what to look for. You got to know the little areas of development that's needed and necessary and how to spot them out. Thereby, you know what to look for. Because if you don't know what to look for, you will be fooled. You'll be thinking you got a 10 and you got a 2. You got a 2. You'll be thinking you got a 10 and you have a 2. Why do you think you got a 10? You think you got a 10 because superficially she appeals to your eyes, to your lust, to the lower self of you. Spiritually and emotionally, she does not elevate you. She doesn't enhance you. And if you're being guided by the wrong spirit and energy and force, and she's being guided by the wrong energy, spirit, and force, then the both of you were made for each other. So you go ahead and do what you got to do. But anybody that's elevated by the right spirit and you're motivating and you're moving toward the Creator, how to worship Him and prepare for a great dynamic future on this life and this earth, to be the best that you could possibly be, you got to be careful of the woman that you bring into your life because she can take you backwards. That's right. And you know what I say? This is what I say. This is what I say. In choosing that, this is what I say in choosing a wife. This is how a man can tell. When a woman ain't got a man, she's not married. If you can look into her past or her history you can see the woman that you're going to be taking to yourself. Except if you meet her at that point when she decided to make a change for the better. But you can always see how she used to be. Let's say we're dealing with this Facebook stuff. We're dealing with this Facebook stuff, right? Okay. Oh, Prince, come on. All right, this is all about the lesson, so we cool. Let's say we're dealing with this Facebook world. And you courting a woman. You go down her timeline. You don't want to look at the first 50 to 100 photos. You want to hit that button, scroll way down there. Far as you can go. And that's where you look at those pictures. That's when you read those texts, those posts. Because that will tell you the spirit that resides within that woman. You see? Go way down there and see what's about. And then when you meet her family, listen to the stories that they tell you about her. And they'll tell you a lot about her personality, her character, and how she moves. Talk to her and ask her a simple question. How many baby daddies you got? 5. How many children you got? 5. Here's the question. You ready? Put your antennas up. Please explain to me, if you can, what was each man's complaint about you when you were married to them? Don't judge her because she got 5 baby daddies. Don't hold that against her because she got 5, 6, 7, or even 9 different baby daddies. Don't hold that against her because a lot of dudes ain't no good. A lot of girls really got a pure heart and they be trying to enter into a thing and give themselves to a man and say, hey, this is the last man I'm going to be with. And then he end up dumping her or moving on. What's she supposed to do? Go celibate the rest of her life? She thinks that she got another good one. She keeps getting duped. And it's because she don't know how to pick a man. Not that she's a bad woman. She just don't know how to pick a man. So what I'm saying to you, you ask her that question. What was that brother's reason for not staying with you? Let's start with baby daddy number 1. And you go from that all the way up to baby daddy number 9. And you ask her those questions. And you hear to with sincerity in her heart. And if possible, you can contact one of them baby daddies. Contact that brother and have a conversation with him. Not that you allow him to influence you to make your decision, but just so that you can have a fair assessment in your judging. Okay? No, if you're a spiritual person and she is not, it ain't going to work. Unless she has the desire to be as spiritual as you are. If she has the... See, like I said, a lot of people start off one way and they're not that way tomorrow. There comes a point in time in people's lives when they decide, I'm going to change and I'm going to be a different individual. And if that may be the reason why the Creator brought you in their lives or brought them to you. Because they decided, I'm tired of the way I've been living for the last 29, 30 years. I got to do something better and different. They go down before the Most High and ask the Most High, Abi, salakanu kitot ani lifneata, Abi. Forgive me for the sins that I've done before you, Father. They may just be serious with that. And if they are, then they have asked the Creator for forgiveness. And as long as they don't turn back in that direction again, then they're worthy of being given an opportunity. They're worthy of being given a courtship. If they violate in that courtship, you drop them. You let them go because you ain't got time for them to slow up your life. But if they make it through that courtship, as I was just reading, then you should marry her. Take her to yourself and show her what heaven is like on earth. Did you hear what I said? If she makes it through that courtship, then you should marry her. Take her to yourself and show her, I'm going to say it slowly, show her what heaven is like on earth. What I mean by that? Her mind should be in bliss. She should be totally gone when she thinks about you. You should make her little heart just crumble inside when she imagined her man taking her and lying with her. That's how it's supposed to be. And if you ain't got that effect on her, then you ain't doing your job right out. It's just that simple. Even if you got 3 or 4 nashim, you should have that same effect on each and every one of them. And the only way that you can do that is because you got to be on righteous grounds. And if you're on righteous grounds, bro, you can do it. And they're desiring to be right, you can do it. It's just that simple. All right, let's get back to the lesson. But first, there's another question before I get going, because when I get going, I'm cutting it up. You know how I do. Is there any other questions before we get moving? You got a few seconds, because I know how sometimes it takes a second for the thing to unwind, for me to catch up, for y'all to catch up where I'm at. So is there any other questions? Because I'm ready to get started again. All right, I don't see no questions. So we're going to get started again. We're going to get moving. So they say that the contract, you should also, when you take this woman to be your wife, or when you enter in a courtship with this woman, that you should also, sometimes you can present the marriage contract or the ketubah along with asking the woman to be your wife. But most of us don't deal with a marriage contract. I know I don't deal with a marriage contract, a written marriage contract. I give you a verbal contract and I live by my word. And periodically I'll ask you, hey babe, all that stuff I talked, how am I doing? I'll ask you periodically just to get an update on how you feel about the situation. But usually I already know because of the peace that's in our relationship. If there is no peace in our relationship, or very little peace, or the peace keep getting interrupted, then that'll also tell me how pleased you are in this relationship. See, it's very important to me that I keep my woman pleased. I will not ever allow my woman to control me. I give voluntarily, freely of myself because I am obligated to do so. So if she wants to control me, the only way she can control me is by being the best woman that she can possibly be. And that will control me and make me be the best man that I could possibly be. All right? This ain't no war between husband and woman, husband and wife. You don't have to force anything upon her when you're doing right. If you're doing right and she's not doing right, then you just let her go, because she can't be with you. She will hold you back, hold you down, interrupt your flow. You can't have that. But you got to first make sure that you're doing right. And if you're doing right as the man, usually the woman will follow like never before. Like she's never done before in her life. I don't care what her upbringing was. If you're doing right, usually she will be able to follow. Unless she just possessed with so many demons and she refused to let those demons go, then you got a problem. But the courtship will tell you that if you keep your eyes open and don't allow the lower half of you to govern in your decision as to her progress. Use wisdom in governing in her process. If you see 2 weeks in that this chick ain't working out, then it's best that you let her go and move on. But sis, you got the power also to end the courtship. If you see 2 weeks in that this brother ain't trying to do what he's supposed to do for you, then kindly ask that brother to release you from this courtship. I got to go, bro. I can't waste the rest of my 6 months thinking that you're possibly going to change and be a righteous man. No. Let that brother go, quick. That's the one time you got the ability to say, I'm out. And that's before you enter into that marriage. You could be into that courtship and quit it and say to the brother, yo, I'm done. We done. I can't do this with you. You're not a righteous man. I'm done. And you can leave, sis. You don't owe him anything. He don't owe you anything. And anything that he gave you, you got that option. Either you give it back or you keep it. If I ever give you anything, you keep it. I don't want it back. If you ever get anything from Prince ever give you anything, that's for you. You keep it. I got women walk around right now with them big rocks on their fingers. They glad that they got them rocks, but they sad because they ain't got that man. They didn't earn it. They didn't deserve it. Wasn't worthy. They had to go. Had to go. So I got to do what I got to do because I'm on a mission. I'm about to try to do everything I can to bring greatness in this earth with our people today. That's right. I'm on a mission, ordained by the Most High. And I got to do what I got to do. And I can't let flesh and blood get in the way of my eternity. I can't do it. Because then my father be mad at me. And I be wasting all this energy on flesh and blood, and I can't do that. If you ain't going to do right, you got to move to the side, and I got to find somebody that's going to do right. Hopefully I'll find somebody, but if I don't, then I got to move along, then I'll be in stealth mode, and you won't see me. Let's read on. Prince always got something funny to say. Boy, always cracking jokes. What you say, baby girl? Nothing? All right, cool. The wedding of patriarchal towns was very similar to that found among nomads, Bedouins, tribes today. Often a separate small tent or hut was created to be used for the bride and the groom for the wedding night. You'll see that in 2 Samuel 16 and 22, Psalms 19, 4-5. The tent was often round in shape and was pitched in the early evening by the women. Now watch this. I found this part to be very interesting. To the accompaniment of considerable merriment, they also made the bed ready for the bridal pair. For the very poor who could not afford this privacy, a small section of the groom's parents' tent was portioned off for the use of the young couple. At sunset, certain female relatives of the groom will go to the tent of the bride's parents and escort the young bride to the marriageable chambers. There, the bridegroom would meet subsequently. Traditionally, the bride remained veiled, and the tent was kept in darkness until after the marriage was consummated. This is how old man Jake was fooled with Leah, thinking it was Rachel. This custom helps to explain the comparative ease with which Laban was able to substitute Leah for her younger and more attractive sister Rachel in the bridal chambers. The public transfer of the bride of the tent of the groom was always a significant part of the wedding ceremony. Genesis 24 and 67 records that Rebekah accompanied Isaac to his tent. She became his wife. Now Rebekah went with Isaac and became his wife in his mother's tent, not in his tent. His mom was deceased, and he was hurt because of his mother's passing. So he consummated his marriage. He consummated his marriage with Rachel in his mama's tent. Did you have some of that, babe? I don't want. Okay. He consummated his marriage in his mama's tent. They say in his tent, but I can see why they would say his tent, because that's probably where he moved out of his Abba's tent and took his own tent because he was growing up as a young man now. Okay, I can see that. This is in the simplest form, was a wedding without an additional ritual. Now, that is how they say a wedding was performed in the simplest form when a man didn't have great substance or wealth. When the family was really pretty much poor, he didn't have a whole lot of wealth. The way that they're saying that they consummated a marriage was that the brother would take the woman into his tent. As I explained to you, you always must provide these things, food, clothing, and shelter for a woman. If you don't have food, clothing, and shelter, and she has food, clothing, and shelter, it's never good. It's never good for you to go into her as a wife and have her as a wife and move into her home and allow her to be the provider. And that's not a good mix. That won't never work. 9 times out of 10, that marriage will be destroyed. It won't work. She will begin to lose respect for you. There's so many things about that. Just so much. Just don't do it. Okay? If you see the story we're here with Rachel, Rachel's family was pretty well off. But when Abraham sent Eleazar to go fetch a wife for his son, they gave her family jewels and gifts. You understand? And she left her house and came to dwell with him in his. That's how a marriage is supposed to be. You know? Now, there are exceptions to the rules where you can make up an agreement between you and your woman, however you want to work that out. But the thing is, you have to be the provider. You have to be the breadwinner. And whatever exceptions to that rule you make in and out of that, you always got to remember that you are the man. And you can't afford or jeopardize or be willing to lose that for anything. And as the man, there are certain requirements that you have when it comes to you being married in a marriage. Okay? If you cannot provide these things, then it's best that you don't get married. Now, if you're providing these things and something happened along the way, then yes, quite naturally, it's your woman's responsibility to get up and do what she got to do to help out. But before becoming married, you have to make sure your game is tight, that you're able to provide for this woman. It's one thing to say you're going to do, and then fall off because you couldn't do, than to say you're going to do and don't do. That's why that courtship is so important. When that courtship starts, sis, he should already be doing these things. He shouldn't just be giving you lip play. Because if he's just giving you lip play through the courtship, then something is wrong with this brother. He ain't going to make you a good husband. A real man that's about his business, while they're in that courtship, he's going to already be showing her mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and guess what? Financially. He's already going to be showing her that I'm about my word. If I tell you I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do everything in my power to get it done. Now, I'm not saying he got to buy you a house and y'all just courting. I ain't saying he got to be paying all your bills and y'all just courting. No, but it's little things that you look for when you're courting a man. How's he with his own bills? Is he living in his mama house? Is he living in his car? Is he staying? Is he on his own, first of all? Is he even living on his own? Does he have a place that if he says, I want you today, that he can provide for you to live? If he doesn't, if he hasn't these things, then why would you even consider that he's going to change in the future and become better? It don't go that way. A lot of times people enter into relationships, oh, we're going to do this together. We're going to do this from the hip together. But it don't work like that. It don't work like that. If this man is not advanced in a way, then you shouldn't even be considering him a possibility to be your husband. He has certain things he has to already have in place even before you enter a courtship with him. Shalom, shalom, says she asks a question. Yakia, she says, how do we determine the time of courtship? How do you know when you are ready? How do you know when you are ready? Here's the secret, my sister, and this is very, 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 very important. Okay? You listening? You listening? You got your ear on? All right, listen. This is why every woman should have a covering. Because when she thinks she's ready, she's probably not ready. But that covering standing outside that sees what the woman is experiencing and knows what she's going through, he can always say, all right, you're about ready now. Once a woman gets to know herself, let's say for the woman without the covering, once she begins to know herself and she has control and discipline over her action, thoughts, and deeds, and she only does that which is right before the Creator, then chances are she's ready. Because to be in a marriage requires full concentration. You can't be distracted in other areas of life. You have to be fully focused on what's ahead of you. Marriages are not to be taken lightly. And a courtship should not be entered into if you can't see yourself marrying the individual. Okay? So when you go on a courtship, when you think you're ready for a courtship, if you don't have a covering, make sure you got all those other things in place. But my advice, to every sister, whether it's your father, whether it's your big brother, or whether it's a spiritual leader. But every sister that is single should have a covering. Every sister. There should be a man that's responsible to make sure that he's preparing you the best he can possibly prepare you for marriage. Okay? All right. And I know that we got a lot of strong sisters that say, well, I don't need no man over me. I can do this myself. I know we do. And a lot of you probably are able to do this yourself. But what happens is, if you were able to do it, you would have did it before. You would have did it, them 9, 10 other dudes that you was with all them years ago, you would have did it then. But you didn't. And it's not to make fun of you or disrespect you. It's just to show you that a lot of times we think we got it when we really don't. And it's best that we really admit that we don't know and that we don't have something, as opposed to assuming that I got this under control. And then you go out and you say, well, I'm ready for a courtship, so I'm going to start dating this dude. I'm going to talk to him and just see how that work out. But I'm going to start just talking to him on the phone. And next thing you know, he's sliding past your house or sliding past your job. And the next thing you know, y'all sliding out on a date. And then the next thing you know, you're in a position where whoopee ensues. And it just start off a little bit. You might do this or you might do that. And it just be a little thing. And you really don't think it's going to escalate to that. And the next thing you know, it escalates. And the situation is what the situation is. Here's a word of advice for all you sisters that want to be hard-headed and want to do it your own way. Here's a word of advice for you. If you determine that you don't want a covering, sisters, because you got this thing, for whomever it is, and sister, I'm not speaking about you particularly, Yakia, I'm speaking of sisters, period. Whomever it is that you think you got this thing under control, and if you want to do this on your own, this is one of the things that a covering would offer to you, this word of advice. When you enter into this relationship with this dude that you decide you want to marry, make sure he go get a venereal disease test. Yeah, I don't care if he got one wife. I don't care if he ain't got no wife. You make sure he go get a venereal disease test. Everything in the spectrum of physical disease that a man or a woman can have, make him get it and present it to you for your safekeepings. See, that's another thing that we don't do. But if you ain't got a good covering, he ain't going to talk to you about these things. See, these things are important because when you take a husband, you ain't going to be wanting your husband to wear no. Most women ain't going to want their man to do that. Well, if he don't, and even if he do, you can still get a venereal disease from other things. So it's best that you make him go get, and you get one too, but you make him go get a venereal disease test to see if he has any infectious diseases that could bother you. You know, well, anyway, that's what you must do. But oftentimes we don't think like that. How long they should court for, and how will she know if they are ready to what? Be married? All that is determined by your covering. Your covering determines when you're married. Your covering will determine how long you're going to court for. Your covering will determine all those things. This is why you have to be an obedient woman. And you have to trust in your covering. Don't ask a man to cover you that you can't trust. If this man that you got covering you is not showing the best example through his own lifestyle, then why would you ask him to be a covering for you? Don't make that mistake. Any woman that has a covering for a head, any woman that has a covering for a head should already respect how that man is living his own life. Don't just pick him because he's older. Don't just pick him because he's in position of leadership. Pick him because you like the way that he's living his own life. He's pretty decent with the way his own flow when he ain't even under no pressure. And then you know that the advice that he gives is usually good advice. Okay? Hey, hold on one second, please. All right, I'm back. I'm back. You didn't even know I went nowhere. I know. I'm back. Let's get back to the lesson. All right. Now, a lot of these, I'm going to start back. The entire village or town will participate in the most memorial events. Brides and grooms will be dressed in clothing of fine linen, sometimes decorated by means of gold threads that have been woven into the garments. The bride was also prepared for the ritual or for the nuptial by being bathed and groomed with cosmetics preparations and anointed with sweet-smelling perfumes. By tradition, she also wore an elaborate headdress heavily encrusted with jewels and often containing gold in the form of small ornaments. Now, one of the things that I read there that was very important, and sisters, what I'm going to give you, this is a jewel for you. Once you're married, your man, you know that little part of your foot down here in the bottom, the part of your foot, your legs, he should never see that crusty. I know y'all cracking up right now. I know y'all cracking up, but I mean what I'm saying. Let me break it down to you a little bit. Your man should never see ash or crust on your body ever. Your man should never see you. Your man should never see you with your hair all over the place like a scarecrow. Your man should never see you not smelling good. You see, these are all mistakes that women make when they get married to a man. They forget the things that they did to get that man. And sisters, another thing you shouldn't do is wear a whole lot of makeup to make your man think he got somebody that he ain't got. Be who you naturally are. But always adorn yourself, because that inner beauty will supersede the physical beauty or the physical ugliness that you may have. That inner beauty will shine brighter than 1,000,000 stars. But you have to understand what that means. You shouldn't wear makeup all over your face, and the man, when you go in the bathroom and wash that stuff off and take that wig off, he can't recognize you. Your own children don't even know who you are. You shouldn't do that. But you should always be presented to him at your very best. Your hair should always look good. Your face, your skin should always be as soft as possible with pure olive oil. You should always have a sweet smell about yourself. Because if you stank, he might let that pass for once or twice. But after a while, if he's being truthful with you, if he's a good man, going to be truthful with you and say, baby girl, you smell. We got to go and you know how he might tell you smell? This might be the way that he tell you smell. I know. This is how he might tell you. You might come home one day and he got a bottle of perfume sitting on the table saying just for you. He ain't never bought you perfume before. Why he buying you perfume now? Because he smell a little older. You stank a little bit. You know, you got that little stank. But I'm going to tell you, if you keep turning him off like that, eventually he's going to give you less and less of his attention. I'm trying to tell you how to keep a man once you get a man. And a lot of people ain't going to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you. Don't no man want his wife weighing more. Well, I'm going to say most men that I know don't want a wife that's heavier than him. I don't even want a wife that's even close to my weight. Hey, Dred, you are absolutely right. Do some exercises, work out. I'm going to tell you, sis, be up on your game. Exceed. I don't want no wife weighing close to what I weigh. I'm almost 190 now. I'm like 189, 170, depending on the day I'm in. It depends. I don't want a wife that weighs 210 pounds. 5'4", 200, and I don't want that. Even if she 5'9", I don't want that. Understand? So sisters, getting that exercise in is important. Watch the food you eat. And what happens is, you don't realize it, but that food creeps up on you. It creeps up on you. And you become big. And you don't even realize it. And then you talk about, you want this kind of a man. Well, wait a minute. What do you do to earn or deserve this type of man? You want to sit around, you want to argue, you want to fight every day. You want to have all these differences. You want your way. You don't know how to compromise. Who wants to be with a person like that? Let alone a wife. That's not the way to be, sis. The things that you can control, you must bring under your subjection. But there are certain things that a person cannot control. Like, you might not be so attractive physically. If you're in the face, I ain't talking about the body because you can control that. If your physical face isn't all that attractive and your hair don't grow like you would like for your hair to grow, it does not mean that you are ugly. It doesn't. It does not. Because the beauty in a woman comes through what the woman's capabilities are. Her attitude, how she conducts herself, how she fits in your life. You understand? That's what it is. It ain't got nothing to do with, oh man, she's knockout gorgeous. And that's why so many women run to the beauty salon or get up in the mirror and put all this makeup. They get their eyelashes cut off and draw it on with a pencil. So it'll be perfect. They wear all that makeup on their faces, mascara and eyeliner and blush and lip gloss and all that stuff so you can't see how ugly they really are physically. That woman is ugly internally. And that's why she's wearing all that makeup. She will never make a good wife. You got to understand this, family. These are some of the secrets. I remember one sister was on her Facebook page. You know those little things that they have up that pop up, the captions where you could do a little video or something and you could show it and you push the thing and the people show up. So this one girl was on there with this makeup on. She had all this makeup on. She was actually a makeup artist, but I didn't know she was a makeup artist. She was actually putting all this makeup on her face and all this stuff. So I hit in the book. I said, why? I said, why, sis? She hit me back. Why what? I said, why are you wearing all that makeup? And she was a beautiful sister. Her natural, without all that makeup, she was one of those beautiful, the top 8, 9 in beauty. She's a very beautiful sister. I can't give her a 10. I give her an 8 and a 9. She's very beautiful. So I said, well, sis, why are you wearing all that makeup and you are so beautiful? I must have said beautiful like 3 or 4 times in that little text to let her know she was exceptionally beautiful. Why are you putting all that makeup? She said, I don't need to hear that from you. She said something about people trying to tell me all that time why I can't wear makeup. And I know what you're going to say. I said, you don't know what I'm going to say, sis. You don't know. She came back with this thing. It's of the devil. Makeup is the devil and evil. And I said, no, sis, that's not what it is. It's not that. It's not that. Why women wear makeup, and this is the real fact. The bottom line is this. Women wear makeup because they're not pleased with the way that they look. That's why they call it makeup. Because you're making yourself up. You're making yourself up to look like something that you're not. That's why they call it makeup. When a woman is displeased, let's say this for example, if a woman get in an argument with her man, she got a trash man, he ain't no good, but she got a trash man, and they get in an argument, and he punching her eye, bang! Oh, she got punched in the eye, whoa! And her eye black. She's displeased with the way her eye looked. But instead of changing her attitude, and instead of changing her position in life to be with this man, instead of changing all those things, she changed the way she looked. She take the eye, the blush, and mascara, and whatever she used, and cover up the black eye. She covered it all up. And she still stay with the dude. And she still stay the same type of person. She is inside, she's sick, and she don't even know it. She don't like the way she look with the black eye, so she put the makeup on to cover it and try to hide it. You see what I'm saying? She tried to hide it so she can go to work, so she can go out in the world, so she can go shopping, because she'll be embarrassed the way she looked. That's why a lot of women wear makeup today, because they are embarrassed of their natural look. Some people say, I know I look good. Prince, I know I look good. I just wear a little eyeliner, a little bit of blush, just a little bit of makeup, because you're not satisfied. Just like I said, if you were satisfied with the way that you look, you wouldn't do none of that stuff. There are a lot of men that put on makeup. Yes, men today. And ain't nothing sweet about them. They not soft. They not flakes. They just wear makeup. They get the phony imprints of the hairline. They get the phony hair. They put all kind of stuff in their hair to give their hair a different texture than what their hair naturally. These people are sick. They're sick. You understand? Mentally. The people are not satisfied with how the Most High made them. So they feel like they have to do all this other artificial stuff to enhance their natural beauty, and then others might like you. The most important thing that you need to enhance your beauty is done internally. And we will ignore the internal makeup to fix that, and we'll fix up the outside to make us look acceptable to people, or how we think people will accept us easier, as opposed to fixing up our eternal selves, our spirit, our minds, our health, our physical bodies. All the things that we need to do is done internally, not externally, because the external things you're doing is what they call makeup. Okay? So that's the thing that we need to learn to deal with. We need to realize that when a person wears makeup, it's because they're not pleased with their appearance. They're not pleased with it. Whereas you could just go wash your face and brush your teeth, and if you want to put on eyeliner, that's what you do. If you want to put on mascara, that's what you do. If you want to put on blush, if that's what you do. If you want to put on pounds of makeup, then that's what you do. But all I'm sharing with you is that you're not pleased with yourself. So you make up yourself so that you could be pleased. That's right. When they wake up in the morning, you wouldn't even recognize who they are, some of them. And that's true. That's true. All right. After the invention of coinage, the hairdress was adorned with gold coins. These sometimes formed parts of the bride's dowry. In later biblical times, there appeared to have been separate processions for brides and grooms, where each was accompanied by musicians with drums and tambourines, dancers, torchbearers, well-wishers, and friends, and of whom joined with shouts and songs and celebrating the wedding. Jeremiah 7:34. Okay? All right, let's see what this sister says. Let me see where we start. Sister Yaki asks, what if you have an external flaw that you cannot get rid of, and only surgery can do it, and what to look appealing to your husband? First of all, first is this. It's so much, that's a loaded question. There's so much in there. It's so much in there. If your husband married you with that internal flaw, then he have to accept you with what you have. You know, I know one woman who, I met this woman one time way back in the day. And this woman had phony breasts. And I said, let me see, let me feel, I never felt these. Let me feel those things. I wanted to see what they felt like. So she let me feel them, and I was feeling them. I was like, what? So I asked her, I said, well, what made you do this? This is what she told me. She said, well, I was married to this guy, and he wanted me to have bigger breasts. So I wanted to please him. So I went out and I got artificial breasts put in my chest to make him happy. And they divorced. And they separated. They're no longer together. And this was way back, way back. If I remember, she didn't have any children. We were still young, but the fact was that she went out and got surgery for this man that she's no longer with today. That's not cool. So she's altered permanently because of trying to make a man happy. That's not good. But when you're living in that unrighteous world, you do a lot of things for a man. A lot of women walking around with tattoos of men names all over their bodies that another man got to see because the man that you got the tattoo is gone. Years gone. Jim gone, Bobby gone, Mike gone, Rob gone, and then you got Darnell. Darnell gone. But now you with Tom. And Tom is the righteous man. He got to marry you with all that stuff. You might not have the money to have them removed. So what they do is they try to go get it covered up with something that's even uglier or worse than having the name on them. It's the reality that we're living in. So sis, if your man can accept you, Sister Yakia, if your man can accept you with that condition, then you probably don't need that man. Okay? So I would not go get a surgery or artificial anything for anybody to find me attractive or attractive at all. Even if you got one of them stomachs that look like you got worms moving all around in it. It's from having babies. It happens naturally. If he can't accept you and try to help you to get better, then he don't need you. Fine, you got the wrong one. Find somebody else. There you go, sis. Absolutely right. We got to adorn ourselves to make ourselves look beautiful to the Creator. By the Creator, makeup is His commandments. There you go, sis. That's what I'm talking about. Who wrote that? Who wrote? Antoinette Kimball. Go ahead, girl. That's what I'm talking about. That's how we represent this king. That's right. No, Azaria, it's not that the right man won't care, at least in my opinion. It's not that the right man won't care, but the right man will help you. Well, first, no, let me say where you're right at, where the right man won't care. If it's something that cannot be altered or fixed or corrected, yeah, he won't care. But like if you got a scar on your face or you got a scar on your neck, whatever, he can't help that. He won't care about that. But if you fat and out of shape and risking your life with diabetes because you're heavy and you just don't do nothing about it, and the man come into your life and he gets you that way, he should care enough to try to make you healthy. And the only way that he can care enough by trying to make you healthy is by changing your attitude toward food and making you work more to better yourself. Okay? Yeah, you're right, but I respect that. You're right. That's cool that you ain't never had a tattoo. It's foolish. There you go. Okay. Wonderful. That's what you meant. Wonderful. Listen, even if a man, even some men like big women. Some men do. Even if the man like big women, he should want that woman healthy. If he's going to be with that woman, then he should want her healthy. Most overweight women are on diabetes. They got heart problems. They got they just sick. They taking all kind of medicines. They just sick. But if you lose the weight, if you tone it down, a lot of that sickness will go away. Right with the weight. A lot of times you sick because of your health, because of your weight. It's unhealthy to be that big and that weight, that size is unhealthy. And one of the best ways to fix that is to start eating right. Change your mind toward food. A lot of people, they don't eat to live. They live to eat. And if you're one of those people who's living to eat, that means you can't wait to eat. You eating 3, 4, 5 times a day. Or even if you eat twice a day, your meal, your plate is so big, you eat so much, you consume so much in one sitting. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. And we need to change our mind toward those things. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want no woman as big as me. That might just be Prince's mindset, because I'm a health fanatic. I'm about that. I might not be in the best of shape, but I'm working on it. That's why y'all see them little videos. I be out there doing pull-ups and stuff, doing all them push-ups and all that. That's to try to get y'all motivated so y'all will start doing all that stuff. I don't need to advertise what I do to the world. I'm not one of those dudes. I do it so that you will begin to motivate yourself in that direction. You ask my wife. My wife very rarely see me work out. I usually do it in a room by myself when she ain't around. I just wanted to feel the results, see the results. But I'm not one to broadcast what I do. I move in the dark. I move at night. I move when everybody ain't watching me because that's where I move best. But the things that I do advertise, it's not for me. It's not about me bragging, about me showing off. It's to try to motivate you so that you can start doing these things to get yourself in better shape. A lot of our men don't realize that we are at war. And when you at war, you can't be out of shape at war because they're preparing for warfare. The enemies, they're preparing for warfare. They got their little children every day doing sit-ups, push-ups, running around the block 8, 9 times, running up through the woods, learning how to shoot guns. And what we doing? Look at the videos. We twerking. We twerk. We getting it in. We having fun. We out of our minds. That's what we doing. We out of our minds. But we should be preparing. We should be preparing because they coming. You're right. If something happened, he got to pick her up and run. He can't pick her up because she twice him. She big as he is. He can't pick her up. He can't put her on her back because he out of shape. He ain't got no strength. He can't run nowhere. He can't even put his child on his back and run because he ain't got no strength. He out of shape. He weak. He ain't got no wind. He can't do it. We are preparing for warfare in every way, mentally, physically, emotionally possible. That's what we're doing. That's why I tell my children, any young man in my life, my question to him is, you've been doing your sit-ups and push-ups? Why do I want you to do your sit-ups and push-ups? So your body is tight. So when it come time you need to use it, it's ready. And that's just the physical body. You know what I mean? I'm not going to ask nothing of you that I don't do myself. I run. I go jogging. Now I go to the gym because my brothers, they got me in the gym. I ain't want to get no money to the gym, man. I felt like I could do everything here on my own, but they got me in the gym. Levi, Shema, Sar, they got me in the gym. It wasn't me. I could have stayed here and stayed with that $300, $400 in my pocket rather than giving it to the gym. But they told me, Prince, this is what's best. They showed me different things, so I went and did it, and they're right. It's a different, you get more exercise, you get way more of a workout when you go to the gym. Right. You're right, sis. You feel way out of shape, out of tired, a lot of tiredness. When you're out of shape, you don't feel as healthy and right. But let me tell you what's been happening since I work out more. My posture has changed. I stand up stronger. I've been noticed that. Every time I would run and jog for the next couple of days, my posture was a different type of posture. And I know y'all might be looking, see the muscles right there, the muscles. All that's muscle. I know it don't look like that because I look like a small frame dude to you. But you got to know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's there. What I'm saying is all that's solid. All of it is solid. And that's the way it is. It ain't to the best where it needs to be. But it's a whole lot better than what it used to be. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. And I believe firmly that every man should work out, every woman should work out and get themselves ready for this warfare that's definitely coming. You know what I mean? You know, it's so bad that a lot of us can't even walk up a flight of steps without taking a break. Oh, man. Whew, I'm tired. Hold up, man. What the heck, sis? You only went up 10 steps. I know, but hold up. Yeah. You got to get it in. That's right. A little bit a day. That's right. And that's how you build it up. Get a little bit a day. That's right. And everybody I talk to, I'm asking, yo, you work out? Do you do this? Do you do that? Because we got to be ready. When that demon come and try to kill us, we got to be ready to fight him off, to run, to hide. You know, I watched the movie Batman the other day. This new Batman movie they got out when Batman was a little kid. And what this dude does in the movie is what a lot of white people do in real life. He goes up on top of the building and stand on top of the building and just stand on the edge like this so he can prepare himself to not be afraid of heights. That's a good thing. He goes and he gets underneath of the water and sits in the bottom of the water and holds his breath to teach himself discipline. He don't just teach himself how to hold his breath, but it takes discipline to be able to do that. Because when your body keeps telling you, no, get up, take a breath, your discipline tells you, no, do it longer. Discipline. He take his hand and hold it over top of burnt things and candles and stuff like that to just withstand the heat, to train his brain. See, this is how they train me in martial arts when I study. I'll leave that alone. Anyway, you take your hands and you hold it over hot flames. And you hold your hands there just so that it burns. And you have to withstand the heat so you can learn how to take pain. And that teaches you things. We don't know nothing about those things. These are not things that we even study. You got to conquer your fears. And you're absolutely right, sis. Yeah, like you did of the dark. You got to be able to know if something comes to you in the middle of the dark and you in your land like that, you on the land, it's pitch dark outside. A lot of y'all never lived down in the country, but we live in the country. When I'm not here in the city, we live in the country. And when you step outside of your house, if the electric is off in the neighborhood, it's pitch black. Pitch black. Well, how do you know your way around in the pitch black? A lot of people don't. But you gotta know your surroundings. And what you do is you set certain markers in certain places so that when you touch a certain thing or get a certain place, you know where you at. You got a mind frame of where you are. You have to learn to move in the dark. You have to. Because when this happens, it's going to happen at a time you don't suspect it to happen. Think about this for a second. I'm going to get back to the message. I knew a lot of people who were being chased by the police. And when the police will come to raid their homes, the police will come early in the middle of the night, late in the middle of the night, like early in the morning. That's when they will come. This is how the government moves. When they come to get you, they don't come in the daytime when you can see them coming. They come and they use the dark to their advantage. And they move in the darkness. The enemy knows what they're doing. So if a lot of these people that's coming to get you, if they got military training, believe me, they're going to come in the dark to get you. You have to be able to move in the dark. You have to be able to maneuver and to get around. You have to prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to become accustomed and familiar with the darkness. Well, if you study warfare like you should, you will know that warfare is not just getting your body in shape. The first thing you got to get in shape is your mental. The first thing is your mental. All right, for example, when they want you to break the block of wood, they used to make a hit and you break wood and you busting cement and all that type of stuff. So in order to accurately do those things, your mind has to be right. One of the teachings is this: you have to actually see your hand going through it before you do it. And that's to prepare your mind to actually build up the momentum and strength and the seriousness and conditioning to do it. And that's what you do. Your mind has to be right. So if your mind is stuck on video games and sexing all the women and eating all the food and you're fat and sloppy and out of shape, when something break out, you ain't going to condition. You're not going to move right. You're going to usually probably end up dead real quick. You're going to be a casualty of war. So anyway, let's move on. Just get yourself right. That's all I'm going to say. There's a lot of things about me that you don't know because I don't tell everything. I don't expose my hand. I don't let people know everything that they don't need to know. Even my wife don't know a lot of things about me. But let something happen and she'll see the man that she's married to. That's how I move. That's when it means the most. All right, so let's get back to the lesson. Y'all ready? All right. This is a long class, boy. We doing it today. Almost 3 hours. Hey, y'all been excellent today. Y'all hanging in there with the brother. I hope you're learning something. I hope I'm helping. I hope I'm educating you. I hope you are moving in the right direction with the Most High. So we ready? Let's get moving. Following the examples of King Solomon, Song of Songs 3:1, the bridegroom was crowned king of the festival. And apparently from about the same period, 900 BC, the bride also submitted to the ceremony crowning, which in effect made her queen for the period of the ain't no ice in there, no water in there. The water is in the containers. They out here. Excuse me, family. They're right over there, in the plastic bag. The ceremonial crowning, which in effect made her queen for the period of the celebration. Ezekiel 16:8. Now, Ezekiel 16:8 is my favorite place to travel when you're talking about how a man should do a wife and what's the requirements of a man and a wife in a relationship. Ezekiel 8:16 is my favorite. It talks about how the Most High took a wife and the things that he did in taking that wife. There seems to have been some occasion when, on arrival at the house of the groom, the men participated in the feast. Genesis 29:22. Separate feasts at the home of the bride parents. Traditionally, the feasting lasted for 7 days. Now, a feast, when a marriage took place, the people would have a celebration. And in the old days, the richer families, they would celebrate a marriage for 7 days. Here, because most of us don't have that kind of wealth, we have a wedding ceremony and it lasts a couple hours, 6 hours, 7 hours at the most. But in the ancient days, when they had wedding ceremonies, they lasted for a week strong, 7 days, every day, feasting. Think about Solomon. Solomon had a feast that lasted a week, maybe 2. And that's how our forefathers did it. That's how we should do it. It's just that simple. While the women, judges, through this period was sometimes doubled in length. Though this period was sometimes doubled in length and was marked by music and entertainment of all kinds, including special poems and songs, proclaiming the praises and extolling the charms of the bride and bridegroom. In some Bedouin practices are any guide, if some Bedouin practices are any guide to the nature of ancient Hebrew marriages proceedings, the songs and the poems that were featured on the celebration would be of a decidedly erotic character. The bride would observe all these activities and might sometimes participate in the dancing with her female attendants. Then, at the approval point of the ceremonies, she was escorted to the specially prepared bridal chamber, to the cheers and laughter and enthusiasm of the assembled guests. In the post-Hellenic period, wedding increasingly took place in the middle of the week, so that if on the wedding night the bride was found not to be a virgin, her husband could denounce her and bring evidence, or rather lack of it, before the magistrates and the following day and still have a decision regarding the reality rendered before the Shabbat day. So what does that mean? That means most women was expected to be married, be virgins before they were married. And if they was found to be passed off as a virgin and not be a virgin, that man didn't have to remain married to her. He could get an annulment of his marriage. Even though he tested her, he had her, he sexed her, he agreed to take her, if she was found not to be a virgin, and he couldn't prove it by the blood being on the sheets, he was awarded a divorce from that woman. And if I'm not mistaken, that woman and her parents was put to death. That's how serious a crime it was in Israel. That's how serious of a crime it was. But if that man said she wasn't a virgin, and in fact she was a virgin, and her parents could prove that she was a virgin, that man was put to death. Now this doesn't mean that every woman that get married had to be a virgin. It doesn't. But it does mean that a woman should save herself for marriage if she's a virgin. It does mean that. Okay? There's a difference between a virgin that's being married and a young woman that's being married. A young woman doesn't necessarily mean that she's a virgin. It means she's a younger woman. Ruth was a younger woman that was being married, but Ruth was not a virgin. When Boaz took her, he said to her, "You are so beautiful. You could have any of the young men. Why would you want an old man like me?" I like to talk about this because it's such a wise decision that Ruth made. And Ruth made a wise decision because usually, not 100% of the time, but 99.9% of the time, the older man is more advanced in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The older man is more established in the things needed to maintain a family. A younger woman can marry an older man and bypass many years of heartache, pain, and suffering if she had married a young man. She would get like accelerated. When I was in college, we had these classes where you can get out of college, you can graduate sooner if you take the accelerated courses. It took a little bit longer. The classes lasted a little bit longer, but you would graduate a whole lot sooner, in almost like half the time, and it was worth it. A young woman who marries an older man, it's worth her marrying that accelerated man, because she would bypass a whole lot of mistakes, a whole lot of time, a whole lot of trial and error, a whole lot of poverty in most cases, because that older man is already established. But she still should go through a courtship. There should still be a courtship. The garment stained with hymenal fluid. The hymen is broken, and the hymen causes fluids to come out, which has the appearance of blood. If there was no hymen breaking, and if there was no blood coming out, then they would naturally assume that this woman wasn't a virgin. Okay? Now, that's not 100% of the case in every instance, but it is a big thing. When a virgin has intercourse for the first time, her hymen is ruptured, and thereby causes a little issue of fluid, which gives the picture of blood. And that was supposed to come out and be on the bed sheets. And that's how he used, or they call that the token of her virginity. Okay? If the man had sex with her and he can't produce that, then he's saying that she wasn't a virgin and that he was deceived. And the price that he paid to him, that he paid to the family for her, was fraudulent. Thereby, they deceived him, and they should pay the price for that. But if he's being evil, deceptive, and she was a virgin, and he gave bad name against her and said that she wasn't, he himself was dealt with. Yeah, you can find a virgin. I got a couple of them now. I got a couple daughters that's virgins now, that you can find virgins in this day and time. It's true. I know one woman, she's about 35, and she's still a virgin. So yes, I do know some virgins in this day and time. Yes. I don't want to say no names, but I'm just putting it out there. I do know some virgins in this day and time. Okay? And I wouldn't think that you were being funny. It's a realistic question in the days that we're living. It's a realistic question. But there are a lot of virgins that are available. There you go. And they come in different ages. So yes, they're still around. All right. The garment stained with the hymenal fluids was adopted as a traditional evidence of the bride's virginity and was usually retained as proof by the woman of her family. In Greek times, the bridegroom gave a promise neither to maltreat his bride nor to bring any other woman into the house. Now, this is why we today are taught that a man should have only one wife, because of what the Greeks did. The Greeks, the Romans and the Greeks, when they decided that they wanted to get married, they were promised not to bring another woman into their house. Not that they were promised not to have sex with another woman, because if they did, they had to leave out in the streets. But they were promised not to bring her into the house. This is why this government, who is based off of Greek principles, has decided that a man can only have one wife. But that wasn't the Hebrew way. And any of our people who have now been, their minds have been manipulated to accept the Western mind state. They feel like it's wrong for a man to have more than one wife. But here we have the Europeans admitting that they were the generators of that one wife, one man concept. Here it is. In Greek's time, the bridegroom gave a promise neither to maltreat his bride nor bring any other woman into the house, while the bride promised, this is what the bride promised, always to attain his consent prior to leaving the confounds of the house. She could not walk out of the house unless he gave her permission. Yeah. It was only in Roman times that the groom began to carry the bride over the threshold. You know that thing that they do when they get married? I got to carry the bride over the threshold into the doorway. That's what they did. That's right. That's why I'm asking everybody to share these videos. Because if you share these videos, the word will get out and a lot of people will begin to hear these things and it will become more accepted in the ears of our people. And we will change our behavior and become more righteous individuals. It was only in Roman times that the groom began to carry the bride over the threshold, a superstition concession to the belief that it would have been a bad omen for a marriage had she stumbled. This custom was not practiced in Hebrew or Christian circles. However, although certain aspects of the wedding varied according to the times of the local customs, the central theme was the public escorting of the bride to the house of the groom. Now you escort the bride to where? To the house of the groom, which showed that the man had to have a house to take this woman to. But a lot of men today, we want to run up in these girls, we want to sex these females, and we ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. We have nothing for them. And the women, because they don't have a covering, they don't know what to look for. Their emotions get involved. They like the way this guy look. They like the way this guy smell. Or this guy got a good rap game. So they avoid looking for all the necessary things to maintain their livelihood. And they allow that man to do things to them that will disrespect them. Thereby, they end up married to this man in sex only. They end up married to this man and regretting that they ever married the man. As in the practice today in Hebrew circles, the wedding ceremony itself was simple and brief, but the accompanying festivals took on an elaborate ritual that varies sometime according to the social and economic status of the participants. Where customs demanded that the entire village or town should celebrate the wedding, the occasion became a grand excuse for a magnificent, colorful event, enhanced by every display of wealth and finery. It also served as a rare opportunity for though not normally a part of the everyday menu. The dancing, laughter, and genuine merriment that were so characteristic a part of the occasion would have made a welcome break for the rigors of normal daily work. There we have it, family. There we have it. Marriage. And that's just a part of it. So what we're going to do, family, we're going to end out with that portion. And I want to make it known that, Creator willing, if it is His will, next week we'll be speaking on the Star of David. So many people call the Star of David or the Magen Dawid. So many people know it as the Star of David or the Magen Dawid, Shield of David. Okay? Or the Shield of Solomon, or the Star of Solomon, or the hexagram, or the pentagram, or whatever you call it. You know what I'm talking about. So if the Creator allows, next week I'll be talking on that lesson. If not, I'll present a different one. So thank you all for staying tuned in. I appreciate those who remain till the end. May the Most High be with you and guide you and protect you. If there are no further questions, we're going to close out this portion. So are there any questions before we close out? I'll give you a few minutes. Are there any questions? All right, fam, so you got to help me now. Share this video. Share this live on your feeds. Do whatever you got to do to help it out so that more people can hear this message and more people can conform to the ways of the Almighty. All right? Shabbat Shalom Lekim. Shabbat Shalom to you all. May the Most High be with you. Shalom, shalom.